Hello and welcome everyone to the North American SMITE Challenges Circuit. My name is Gormizer, and joining me for the first set of today is going to be none other than Mifflin coming through, and this is looking to be a pretty fun one. Last week we watched as Baskin and the boys took on Hype Unit, but today we're going to see that same Hype Unit squad take on OHEY down here in the SCC. And last week, maybe not the easiest matchup for Hype Unit, maybe not the best start to the phase, but this one definitely seems like it will be more in their ballpark.
It should be a lot more competitive. I mean, any team in the SEC competing against Baskin and the boys, I mean, that's a hard task in of itself. But OHEY is certainly not any pushovers. They've got some competitive talent over there. Oceans has been tearing up the SPL. He made it through the SEC. He's been living at this league for a while now. And he's backed up by Frasian, Amuel, Cureme, Dishonored. All these guys have been playing SMITE at a very high level for a very long time.
And that's the thing. I mean, Cureme, we just saw, in the playoffs being able to kind of come in, sub in, and play pretty stellar in the jungle there. So not anyone to glance over. And Oceans has a long history in terms of playing SMITE, so it's going to be very solid. But when you look at Hype Unit, I mean, Wolves, Layers, Boronic, Gaijay, and Mineral, even though they maybe were, I don't want to say washed over by Baskin and the boys, they definitely didn't put up maybe as strong of a fight. Their early game was pretty solid, but it does depend on how well they're going to be able to hold on to it, and that, I think, is going to translate into today how much control they can kind of keep over OHEY to make sure that things stay in their favor. Because as you saw, they actually had a double header today. The first match we're going to be watching right now, and then if you want to see them play again later, it'll be post-SPL, but that maybe makes things even more complicated. You lose the first week pretty rough, and then you have to come into the second week and play 2 matches?
You got to prepare for a couple other teams, right? But I don't think it's going to weigh on their mind too much. These SCC guys are used to playing in a tournament format. They're used to working their way through brackets. So I think, especially at this level, maybe they don't prep for individual matchups nearly as much, but these guys are constantly trying to hone their own style. And that's exactly what console kids do, especially when we're talking about Hype Unit. You got to bring up that console mentality. I mean, you got Boronic, Layers, Wolves.
Yeah.
All these guys are hungry to prove themselves on PC, and what better proving ground than here?
I mean, Wolves, I think I said this last week when me and you were talking about it, but he stands in my mind as one of the strongest solo laners we got to see on console. I mean, sometimes his team, you could lose everywhere else on the map, and this is not ordinary for a solo laner, but he could somehow single-handedly win the game from over there. It doesn't happen often. We don't see it all the time, but Wolves was one of those guys who could make it work in some of those games, and now it's going to be how OHEY can deal with that kind of pressure across the map, and the first one they take off the board is Thor, which admittedly, it doesn't necessarily reveal anything. That is just a target at the jungle.
Yeah, Layers himself does have a very potent Thor. He's been able to just really make moves on this god. So taking it away, that's broad knowledge. Everyone knows that about Layers, at least at this level of play. So might as well remove him from that comfort pick. It seems like they're not super worried about the general meta, with Horus being banned out. That's leaving up Raijin, Morrigan comes to mind. All these other gods that are so dominant in the SPL, it seems it's kind of slipping through at this level.
Yeah, it's interesting to see because we've had, I feel like, a fluctuation of meta where it went from kind of aggro supports into this healer meta, and now depending on where they want to go, it can shift to anywhere. I mean, a lot of gods that maybe were previously unavailable being opened up once again. And of course, just some of the control that's come through. I mean, Horus, Jormungandr, Thor, all three of them maybe not able to, well, Horus maybe on the line of being able to win a game on their own or because of their kit. But for the most part, every single one of them an integral part of a larger team that make late game just so much more difficult to deal with. I feel like OHEY are just trying to target out what will give Hype Unit some easy strengths and make them go a little deeper in the pocket.
Yeah, if I had to guess what OHEY's comms are like right here, it's almost certainly Ocean saying, alright guys, what's annoying to play against? I hate getting hit by Thor. I hate it when Horus is able to teleport teams. Let's just get rid of this. Whereas when you look at Hype Unit's bans, it's a lot more focused. They're trying to get rid of these meta mid laners. They're getting Merlin. They get rid of the healers, Afro and Hell. So it seems like they want to play through the 3v3 in mid, whereas OHEY just kind of want to play SMITE and not be annoyed.
It almost looks like a Knights game. It's not often you get to see 3 mid laners banned out, and honestly, the only time I ever see it is if Paul's on the other side. So Hype Unit, I mean, they make slim pickings for themselves. It leaves maybe Raijin as the next highest that's going to come through, at least for mid. And so far, no one's really looking at him. I mean, Kamazatebo is not something to glance over if you're OHEY, but it's kind of surprising to see them go that route instead of the Raijin.
Yeah, Hype Unit especially, I would have expected them to pick the Raijin there because they had the double pick phase. But King Arthur and Uller, fantastic trade-off. But seeing that god just passed over, usually when Hebo gets picked out, yeah, he's a very strong pick. He can absolutely win you a game. But you don't usually go straight to him when there are just overall safer, stronger late-game picks available. But again, Raijin getting glossed over by both squads. Yamoja and Hebo for OHEY. Robin last picked in that first ban phase for Hype Unit. It's just aggression, but it seems like even with the targeted out mid-bans, neither team's really too pressed about it.
I'm wondering if we're going to end up seeing Hype Unit maybe just completely glance over it, go for something else in the mid there, based on their experience. I want to know, Ravin comes through. We've talked about him a lot as kind of this mid-game. Like, he has to get that aggression early on, and then about 16 minutes in, if he's not really far ahead, he's going to start feeling his impact less. Against a Kamazat's, a Hebo, a Yamoja, all of which can either burst him or survive through him, how's he going to start to look ahead here?
Ravin has so much fight potential in the early that I would say that Hebo is really a good counter target. He can really run him down, see if he can find those kills in the early game, and then keep a Hebo down. That's absolutely what Ravin's looking to do. If he can shut down even the Yamoja and slow her down from finding the farm, that's going to be a fantastic way in. As long as he's not fighting around this Kamazat so far, this Ravin should be able to get value in the early game.
Well, I'll say it now only because they haven't picked up a mage. Uller has in the past been someone who can swap over to the mid lane, and that's more to cover my bases than anything, just in case Hype Unit decide to go with it. They lock in the Kumba here, and that's an interesting support we don't get to see so often. What does Kumba bring to the game that you're jumping over here instead of a Khepri or a Geb?
Normally, when you pick up Kumba, it's because you have a huge AoE setup needing mage. Like, you think, I'm a monster is going to slam down, or Thoth is going to hit you with the ultimate, or something like that. But right now, Hype Unit doesn't have any of that. In fact, they've got a lot of dive potential. So, Kumba might just be picked to make sure that Uller stays alive. They can keep that Janice alive in the backline. He's got a lot of peel tools, but normally when you do see him, it is aggressive-minded. He's looking for the epic uppercut into something huge, and right now, Hype Unit's team comp doesn't have that.
Well, Osiris and Chernobog were going to close out OHEY there. And it is that Yanis that you highlight that comes through on Hype Unit. And, I'd said that it looked like a Knights game earlier, considering we had 3 mid lane mages banned out in the first phase from Hype Unit. But it turns out it's a United. Herwind, who has really made this one look good, maybe trying to channel that play here, is going to be Hype Unit. Because Yanis, for all of the things he does well, he doesn't do it maybe as consistently or maybe as well as some of the other mages, but there's also something to be said of his ability to snipe from the backline, his ability to move around the map, and how much it enables. It's just one of the interesting things I think that Hype Unit are going to maybe be able to showcase. That's pretty much the standard that Baronic has to live up to, right? Is how well can you make these portals matter?
Yeah, I've been thinking about Yanis a lot recently, probably because Herwin had that fantastic performance on, and I think that despite being a weak god in of itself, because you have inconsistent damage, your CC is really hard to land out, even your ultimate, it can one-shot someone from across the map, but that's a lot of luck involved. You gotta really pray that it's gonna land home. I think what really makes this god strong is how unorthodox the playstyle is. Normally when you're diving a mage, you're going into the enemy's backline, but Yanis is a god that's constantly going to be playing in your own backline, TPing through the team fight, trying to find weird angles, get his damage off, then TP out, and that kind of disjoints the enemy team's fight. They're thinking, we want to dive, but how are we going to dive when this Yanis is nowhere where we expect him to be?
Man, and there's no way to glance over anything but hold that thought, Amuel, and a little bit of distress. And it's actually going to be Phrasen that gets taken down over in the other lane. It's been a lot of pressure from him and Oceans, and it's not going to matter too much. Emoji uses the stun to try and disengage, so Amuel walks away with his life. And Oceans forced to use his beads early on. One more hit could do it. But Guy J just off the mark there from finding himself 2 kills this early on. But you get rid of the enemy hunter, which is going to help you regain pressure, which they had pretty much lost over here. Now they're going to be able to control the lane.
Yeah, first blood on an Uller, man. That's gonna be rough, and he's going for the Transcendence Rush, so he should be able to get that online around the same time he lits level 5. Phrasen's gonna be in for a rough one. The pressure from Uller was already gonna come online no matter what, but now he's got to deal with the Uller in the lead from the 1 minute mark onward. Good luck.
I mean, it's already dangerous enough on the side of Hype Unit having to deal with Oceans having this nice big AoE stun, but you can never glance over Ullr's axe, something that is very big at setting things up. And I have a sneaky suspicion, yeah, it had something to play here as they came through. And it's just incredible that they were able to get this aggressive. It felt like Hype Unit, well, as a unit, were trying to get a fight somewhere. You had two people aggressing in mid, and then the two people aggressing in duo. If you get that first blood, like, is there anyone on this team you would rather have it on, or is it just so happy to be on Ullr?
It is really good to have on Ull, but maybe it's my jungler bias, maybe it's just because I know how Layers can snowball these games, but I love it when these early game assassins can get a lead. If this Raven hits level 5 around the 3.5 minute mark, that's almost going to be game in of itself. He's going to have so much pressure on the map, everywhere is going to have to be constantly worried about the pressure that he brings from just existing. But having it on Ullr, that's a close second prize. You can almost guarantee that Hype Unit's going to be able to lock down that duo lane. I don't see any way they turn that OHEY, that is, unless they get maybe a fantastic gank from Kirmi, but even then, ganking it ahead of Ullr, that's a little bit scary.
Well, now that lead is maybe spread a little bit more because they had the purple buff in bait. So one for Kumba, now one for Gaijay, as they're going to be able to control their own. And that just makes it a little more awkward over here. For Gaijay, the attack speed's going to be nice, but either side is just going to be stripping that experience away. It's going to help out Hype Unit even more so. Wolves seems to be doing okay in his lane, and originally I'm actually glad I never got to ask you. I was going to, talk to you about a King Arthur versus Camazotz, how that looks over here in solo lane. But now versus this Osiris, I mean, how does Osiris hold up to the King?
If Osiris establishes a lead early, and it depends on which build he goes, you're either thinking Berserker Shield or Gladiator Shield. It's likely going to be the Glad Shield. If he gets that online early and he gets the pressure and he walks in a lane and he doesn't show too much respect to Wolves, Osiris is one of the few gods that could trade evenly with a King Arthur consistently. It's if King Arthur gets any sort of lead, if Osiris gets any sort of lead, it should be able to snowball in the lane either way. Overall, I'd say it's about a 50-50, except Dishonored on this Osiris is a lot more susceptible to ganks than King Arthur is.
And I'm going to point this out, sorry for everyone in chat, but it always bugs me. Wolves has done this one thing. He's got his blessing sitting there in his second item slot. It belongs in the first slot. Come on, man. Wherever you're going to put that, at least make it unique and standardized across the board. But, well, that aside, where he places his item doesn't matter. It's actually going to be aggression over here in the duo lane. Forces the beads and the dash out from Phrasen. That's going to be enough to get him out of there. The stun in return. Gaijay getting a little bit low, but they don't necessarily have the damage or control to jump in on this one. But Kirmi lurking in the jungle. There's going to be a through time and space jumping through, and now Gaijay under duress in the backline. Kirmi going to take a lot of health, but Bat Out of Hell going to get him safe. And even though they don't lose mineral either, that's a good clean kill onto Gaijay, and even though the rotation was nice from Hype Unit, it's not going to get them a lot.
That's what you gotta love about Camazott's jungle. He's able to put himself in these precarious situations that immediately use Bat Out of Hell to just walk on out.
Now they want to get more. I've never seen OHEY. I mean, with low health bars, not a lot of mana, but they're looking to bite off more. And, well, I guess fortunately for Hype Unit, they're not going to be able to find anything here. Not any lockdown, or at least not enough to be able to open this up. It looks like that purple buff was stripped away once again by Hype Unit on the retreat, so they were able to still keep things a little bit in their favor, even though they lose that kill. You still have Ullr maybe ever so slightly ahead here, but getting that kill onto Kirmi, getting this Camazotz into the game, I mean, compared to the Raven on the other side, how's that going to work out?
It's going to be nice. Having Kirmi get a little bit of a lead, but he's not even ahead. While he was going for that gank, we saw that Layers was just farming up the map, and then he used the Janus ult to reposition himself. So he's not behind in XP, just a little bit in gold.
Whew. Well, Layer's almost able to return at least a little bit there. Doesn't need to be the one to confirm it. Mineral will rotate through and show what a belly bump from Akumba can do. It's not a ton of damage, but it's more than your usual Guardian. At least most of the time it feels like it. And the lockdown that Mineral is going to bring makes the big difference here. So keep that jungler in check. Give this Raven a level lead now. Things are starting to look slightly better for Hype Unit.
They're doing all right. About 700, maybe 1,000 gold in the lead, 6 minutes in. They haven't really gone for a full engagement just yet. It's been ganks and counter ganks. Just this ebb and flow of the game state so far. I'm excited to see which team's going to be the first one to aggress towards this gold free. At the current state of the game, it's easy to say that it would be Hype Unit, but with only 1,000 gold deficit, and there's still global presence from Frasian, if they decide, OHEY that is, to group up on the Fire Giant side of the map once Pyro spawns, they can look to gank out this King Arthur and then leverage that global ult to maybe go for early Pyro. Or we could see Hype Unit use their early lead, group up, take that warrior, this pseudo-warrior, I should say, Robin Jungle, and try and force a fight around the gold. Either way, that's where we're going to see the first real split of the game, the first real differentiating factor in gold and XP.
Frasian being able to be pretty much in any fight that he would like across the map is going to be something Hype Unit have to keep in mind, because Boronic, anybody who happens to be near this Yanis whenever they come through, he's going to be able to make that rotation, but much like right now, Frasian can just go up, and it's going to cause a little bit of slow, but he's not finding much out of this ult. He gets a little bit of vision, sees where everyone's at, and then immediately falls back down to just keep farming. In fact, maybe giving a little bit of pressure over to Hype Unit in the process, because he wasn't able to clear the wave as fast.
He wasn't. He was a little bit scared there. He got caught out by the CC from Gaijay, so he immediately goes into his ultimate for no follow-up. Unfortunately, Mineral doesn't land the epic uppercut on the tail end of it, so what's Frasian going to do? Just go back to farming, see what he can do. You get a little bit of global presence. You get to show everyone on the map where they are. But overall, now he's going to be really worried about getting ganked for the next minute or so. If Layers walks over, all he has is the dash to survive.
Now, I wasn't paying attention to the timer, so I don't know if they've taken yet another purple buff here, but, I mean, OHEY have not been able to get a single one except for, the very initial part of this game. And that's just been the control Hype Unit have over here. I mean, even now you see Kumba getting a little deep near the red buff just to get some ward vision, and, well, they're going to be covering it well. Camazotz is going to be hanging over into the left lane, but I don't know if Gaijay is going to get aggressive enough. He ends up taking a couple steps here, and they're going to loop around Kirmi in the area looking to lock him down, but it's Solar. He can jump away, right? Is it going to be enough? The stun from Oceans is going to be able to come through, and Boronic looks to make the rotation, but it's just a little bit too late. So Mineral's over in lane, but they're not going to find anything.
Yeah, Gaijay just got big baited by Frasian there. You see a Chernobog in front of you, you're a Uller, you already have the lead. Of course you're going to want to look for the fight, but Frasian's not standing there for no reason. He's moving up, he's trying to get a little bit frisky on you, because he knows he's got this huge rotation. Kirmi in the jungle, Oceans rotating around. Gaijay just kind of plays into the palm of OHEY's hand there and maybe loses out on his entire lead. The XP deficit's about closed up. The stacking hasn't really started to come through for Frasian just yet, but he's getting really close to finishing out what could either be a Devo's Gloves or a Blood Forge, depending on whether or not he wants to get more involved in the early game or stack up and get stronger towards the mid to late. Either way, it's an even lane now, and any ganks from OHEY should work out because this Uller isn't nearly as dominating in the lead as he was before.
Yeah, realistically right now, experience is mostly even. You have a little bit of a lead on Layers and Gaijay, and right now it reads as a number, or as one full level, but it's not going to be quite a full level ahead of them. They're just a little ahead to keep that pace. The gold between these two teams is First Blood Bounty plus all these purple buffs that just keep getting taken away. And now Mineral's going to get aggressive on his own, has to retreat to Layers and Gaijay, but they're going to be going in. River's Rebuke goes up, Mineral down in his passive, and there's enough members around to just knock down that one. Crushing Wave going to be just off the mark. Layers not going to take damage from that, but it doesn't matter. Boronic with the shotgun blast is going to be able to eliminate them. Frasian, the next one who is the target. Layers knocks him down. There's going to be the portal trying to get Oceans, and he is just one hit away. The axe, not enough damage from it. Oceans, he's barely walking away from this one.
Man, Boronic won that fight on his own. He chose his battle wisely. He goes in to get the last hit on Amuel. He turns around, uses his ultimate aggressively, and hits two people with it. I mean, every single bit of relevant damage really came from Boronic in that engagement. And now Amuel doesn't have his beads anymore. He's got to be worried.
Well, and Boronic unfortunately chose the first fight well, the second fight maybe not so much. That portal will be a saving grace. So with his dying breath, he gives Gaijay the rest of his life. Otherwise, that is one out of mana, caught out Uller, who is in a lot of danger. They strip away that red buff, maybe not the purple buff this time around, but I would argue maybe a stronger buff for them. That's a strong fight, even with a sloppy retreat from Hype Unit.
They were able to increase their gold lead from almost 1,000 to almost 2,000, so I think they're plenty happy with how it turns out. Layers gets a kill, gets to back up for free as well, so he's starting to establish a serious lead in that jungle. We're looking at 2 levels. He's going to get his second relic online before Kirmi does, which means he can get involved in these elongated team fights. He can look for maybe a bead so he doesn't have to worry about the CC. He's going to be a real threat on the map.
Oceans is about half health right now. It's going to be an ult just wide from Baronic, but Mineral looking to chase people down. Kirmi is going to get caught out, but the River's Rebuke trying to separate Hype Unit, and it's going to be enough to get Mineral low, but not enough to save Ocean's life. He's going to get pulled out of there. The rest of the team on OHEY look to retreat. Baronic looking for like the wide angle rotation. And Layers and Gaijay didn't seem to get the memo that they should fall back. They're going to keep going in. That's going to be a nice axe stun onto Frasian, and it's going to be looking like a damage. There's going to be the Mez, forces the beads and the dash out of Frasian, but right as he comes out of the wall, the damage is going to be there to find the kill. It's going to be a 2-for-0 trade here for Hype Unit, and now they're starting to put some pressure on a tier 2.
Man, OHEY is just getting dismantled in these team fights. It doesn't look like they've had any real say or agency in how the game's gone so far. It's just Hype Unit constantly walking in, taking the engagements in the enemy jungle, winning it miraculously, then backing up and getting an objective. They're starting to run away with it now, nearly 4,000 gold in the lead when we were just saying it was nearly 2,000 just a minute ago. This lead's starting to spiral out of control. A lot of that is due to this early pressure from the Robin. We're seeing that this Yanis is getting a lot more aggressive than Hebo is in the early game. And now take a peek at those XP leads. It's mirrored between mid and jungle. 2 levels up both ways for Hype Unit.
I mean, being able to get that big of a lead this early on, it's kind of what you need, right, when you have that Robin. And I was questioning Baronic coming into this. I think I was letting Layers do his thing, but the Yanis, we've really only seen maybe one guy make it work, and as of right now, he's making it work here, Baronic. So adding 2 to that list. Gaijay in a little bit of danger. The portal's there, but the Bat Out of Hell is a little bit better. The rotation from the team might be able to find a little bit, and Baronic picks up Kirmi on the back end, so a 1-for-1 trade. Now Frasian in probably the worst spot to be found. It's, well, coming down out of an ult from Makumba with a Yanis waiting for you. The shotgun blast once again good for Baronic there. The Unstable Vortex cleans up the kill, and Gaijay might lose his life for the process, but keeps his lead, and they find themselves 2.
Yeah, I said that Kumakarna is really good for setting up mages that have huge confirmable burst damage, and Yanis doesn't really come to mind unless he gets a 2-level lead, unless he's 4-1 13 minutes in. He did about half of Frasian's health there with Unstable Vortex. That's insane. That's one ability that's going to be up about every 6 seconds with the build that we're going towards. That's absolutely nuts. Someone's going to have to put a stop to Baronic, but with OHEY being so far behind, with Kirmi just now hitting level 12, this Amuel, Hebo just now hitting level 13, I'm not sure that anyone's going to be able to keep up with Baronic in these team fights, not let alone kill him.
I mean, he's so far solid. I don't think I've seen him have to use many of his relics that often, so beads and ages available to him. And now we've got, I mean, Layers, like you said, not only with that lead, but he hit that level 12 first. He has the blink and the beads now. I mean, the aggression that's coming down from this Robin is just hitting harder than what we're seeing out of Kirmi.
Kirmi also goes a more expensive build. Looks like he might be going towards an Erudite. I'm assuming that he could go towards his Heartseeker as well. He's not going to get these items online fast enough to match the pressure that's coming out of the Brawler's Beatstick, the Jotuns, the Talaria boots on this Robin. He's going a very cheap build that's effective in the early game to leverage that state. He knows, Layers that is, that Robin is very strong for the first 15 or 16 levels. And if he's able to establish a lead, he can keep dominating with the base stats of each of his abilities. I like what we're seeing here. A cheap build, early game pressure. That's textbook Robin. It seems like Kirmi is just not able to keep up.
Well, I feel like I turned my brain off about 3 minutes ago. I don't remember that Fury going down. There's a good chance I called it when it happened, but it being gone now is maybe even more of a lead for Hype Unit, along with the Pyromancer they just got. So a lot of objective control that has come down for them. With that tier 1 in mid, and even the tier 1 in right, it makes it a little easier to get aggressive. Kind of like Mineral is doing, and maybe not to the point that you want to be where Mineral is at. It looks like an easy collapse if they so choose. But, I mean, this Kumba is causing them more trouble than I would have given him credit for going into this game.
He's just been free casting in the enemy backline. It seems like Mineral's got less regard for his own life than OHEY even does. He doesn't care if he dies, as long as he can go in, set up some CC, and get his team at least one kill. It's working out. He's been able to do it, and he's only died once so far, despite his constantly aggressive, foolhardy positioning in these team fights. It just seems like OHEY isn't responding as a unit. Each of these guys are playing very individual-focused Smite. They haven't grouped up as 3, they haven't grouped up as 5, they haven't grouped up as really anything to deal with the cohesive aggression from Hype Unit. They're always fighting as 2 or 3 members, whereas OHEY kind of staggers in one at a time and loses out in artificially manufactured 3 versus 1 engagements.
OHEY Fury is going to be up in a little under a minute here. And Hype Unit starting to get, well, aggressive positioning more than anything. They're not looking for a fight just yet. Well, maybe the rest of the team isn't. Mineral definitely is. He's going to go in and find a Mez onto 3. It's going to force 2 beads. The River's Rebuke comes out as well to try and separate him and isolate him. That's going to be a knock-up. A lot of damage onto this Kumba, but he's still Kumba, and that's going to be a good portal from Boronic to get him out of there. The question is whether or not they can follow it up, and the answer is yes. Kirmi goes down. Dishonored maybe a little too deep. A good stun from Gaijay here, and the follow-up damage is going to be good. All the entire time, Wolves has just been baiting and keeping everyone available. He loses his life for it, but now the team's going to rotate in. Frasian goes down. Ocean is by himself, and Hamuold has no mana to get out of this one. Layers is going to find a double kill, and the rest of OHEY, which I guess is just Oceans in this case, get to walk away. Unfortunately for them, that is all the pressure on this left-hand side. A 4-man swing for Hype Unit.
Yeah, shouts Mineral for that one. Blinks in, finds a 3-man Mez, immediately forces beads off of 2 priority targets. Of course, the fight is going to go the way of Hype Unit off a play like that, and they play well around it. Immediately off the Mez, we see Layers, Veronic, and Gaijay start to rotate into the engagement. Wolves a little bit later on, but he definitely makes his stamp known as he zones off 4, while the rest of his squad systematically dismantles the rest of OHEY. I mean, these guys are playing confident, they're playing dominant, and they're playing wherever they want on the map. And it seems like Fire Giant's next in their sights.
Well, Oceans is around with full Omi. Well, a lot of that's going to get used just trying to keep himself safe, so he's not going to be in position. Kirmi ends up getting caught out. Bad out of hell available and used just to get the disengage under the tier 2. Fire Giant, maybe still a target for Hype Unit, but now that OHEY have respawned and they're more or less back in the fight, maybe a dangerous game to try and get in. Get aggressive on them. Fire Giant, not really the main target. Oceans is going to be the one that's low enough right now. A good Mez from Mineral is going to be great again, and Amuel bites off more than he can chew over there in the backline. The Crushing Wave puts him in a bad spot, and Layers is able to get the kill and stay alive. 4-0-6 now for that Raven, and go ahead and tick another one there onto Baronic's belt as he finds Frasian. Now they're going to get aggressive. Kirmi has no mana, has no life anymore, and is going to get put down. Unfortunately for Dishonored and Oceans, it feels more like it's just a matter of time for them to go down based on how long they can hit their abilities. Wolves dives Phoenix, gets 1. Now the portal's going to be good from Boronic to be able to lock down Dishonored. It feels like they keep walking out of these fights with one guy left, and Dishonored, it might just be better to run away.
It might be, but I don't think anyone's going to let him walk out for free. No ultimate available. Layers has to use his blink in to close the gap, but Dishonored still on the retreat. Nope, that's going to be an epic uppercut. Puts him in the dirt. Again, OHEY takes this engagement so strange. The first one dead on their squad is the one guy who really shouldn't ever die, Amuel on this Hebo, because he's solo agent diving the backline of Hype Unit. He almost does kill Boronic, which would have been a value trade, but best case scenario, he gets the kill, then immediately dies, and he's the highest source of damage output for the rest of OHEY. No one back there diving with them. Boronic, that's not allowed.
All right, that's just flavor. That is icing on the cake. That is now a double kill for Boronic. 1 with the snipe, 1 with the unstable vortex. You lose Gaijay in the process, so finally something in return for OHEY. But it just feels like it's not enough. I mean, the steal potential on objectives was there, and if it was a Fire Giant steal, it could be huge. It just feels like they're getting too aggressive.
Yeah, at the beginning of that engagement, before the 4-for-1 trade in favor of Hype Unit, Hype was only 6k in the lead, and then what happens? They get a 4-for-1, then they get another 2-for-1. Now we're looking at a 10,000 gold lead, 15,000 experience. And OHEY seems completely content with playing it like bots, truly. They respawn, they walk up, they die again, they respawn, they walk up, they die again. Hype Unit didn't back at any point during that engagement.
Yeah.
They stood their ground at fire, just waiting for the right chance to do the objective, and OHEY says, maybe you guys just want to clear us out instead? And Hype Unit says, sure.
I mean, if I'm Baronic, I know I'm happy about it. 9-1 and 6, a 5-level lead over Ammuel. That's not a number we get to say often when we're talking about level disparity. Now it's gone down to 4, so maybe closing up the gap. But it's honestly only because Baronic can't go up anymore. That's going to make the big difference. Layers is 4-0 and 9. And now they're putting pressure onto this Oni Fury. But look at the grouping from OHEY. I mean, if you're going to try to start a Fire Giant, now would have been the time. They're just hanging out. They're warding. Maybe trying to get some pressure onto this Tier 1. A couple of towers would give them at least some semblance of control over here, take away some of the safe havens of Hype Unit. But they just find nothing in the process, watch one objective go down, and now they're kind of awkwardly positioned in case the Fire Giant starts.
Yeah, OHEY can't start Fire Giant. The only thing I can recommend OHEY start doing is farming. I mean, look at the XP deficit. Jungler down 3 levels, Soul Laner down 2, Mid Laner down 4, 2 on support, 2 on ADC. These guys can't win a 5-on-5 engagement, even if they play it perfectly at this point, because of the huge deficit. They haven't returned to farming individually in any of their lanes a single time yet. This is the first time they've really stopped showing presence around the Fire Giant. It's also going to be the first time they don't lose a team fight around the Fire Giant. Sure, they're giving it up, but they have to do something, and right now, fighting inside that objective is only a death sentence.
Now, one of these teams has the ability to traverse most of the map with an ult, and that is going to be Hype Unit. They don't need it, though, right now. They're going to grab this Fire Giant much for free. They lose a Tier 1 over there and left, but honestly, I think they're going to call that worth as far as things go. And now a Tier 2 on right seems to be on the chopping block. They might even be able to pressure a Phoenix before... No, not before anybody backs. So OHEY's going to be able to get back to the base in time.
Yeah, Frasian, the only one who hasn't started, is back, but he's got that ultimate available. He's going to want to return to base first. He doesn't want to ult into this fight just now. He's nearly but it seems like Hype Unit are going to take it slow, take out all the Tier 2 towers, maybe go to a Gold Fury afterward if there's still time on the clock, about 3 minutes left till it respawns. They've got so much of a lead, so much time to work with this Fire Giant that there's really no rush.
Well, Layers forces the beads out of Frasian, and that's going to be him up into the sky using his ult, trying to disengage. Ends up going into maybe a dangerous position, but it's safe enough for him to be able to walk out alive. Shell going to be used here in the River's Rebuke. That's going to come crashing in. Layers in a little bit of trouble, but the health bar is going to be good enough to walk through the Tier 2. The sustain from the Fire Giant needs to prove its worth right now. Nice juke shoes to be able to sidestep Kiermi. Now Kiermi is in a little bit of trouble himself. All of OHEY forced to fall back. This Tier 2 is not the target because there's still a Tier 1 here. That's going to be able to help them get a nice chunk of gold in their pocket, which Hype Unit didn't really need, but it's going to be helpful anyway.
Layer's decision-making to walk through the tower there is so smart. It's the most direct path back to his team, and he takes the risk knowing that Kiermi could blink the wall, but it just works out in his favor. That's a lot of trust in the squad.
Now it's going to be Wolves trying to get the zone. The Tier 2 tower is the main target, but a couple of kills are never going to be argued with. Frasian has no beads, no ages, no ult right now, and it's going to make it easier to burn him down. But Ammuel, well, he's Hebo, and we've talked about that one enough to be able to say he's going to die if he gets caught out. And well, this time, guess what happens?
Yeah, he got cut out. That's his 5th death of the game. The last 3 have happened in the last 10 minutes as well. Hype Unit have established a lead in the mid game. It wasn't even that dominating in the early, considering they had a Robin jungle, they had an Uller in the lane. They didn't get these huge strides around Gold Fury. It really didn't happen until that 13 to 14 minute, and since then, they have not let go of the throats of OHEY. We are rapidly approaching a 20,000 gold lead 24 minutes into the game, and they're not stopping yet.
Yeah, they just got their last Tier 2. One Phoenix down on left. Mid Phoenix may be in some trouble this time around. It's going to be Mineral, who's low on health. Going to have to reset the Phoenix. And Kiermi's going to be the first to fall in this engagement. Jumping into the backline is going to be Layers, looking to try and find Frasian. And it's going to be a lot of damage dumped into him. Dishonored goes down. The front line seemingly missing right now from OHEY. Ocean's going to be able to keep them alive with that sustain. Frasian forced to go back. And Gaijay caught out by Ammuel with the crushing wave. They get the mid Phoenix, they lose Gaijay. They should be able to retreat otherwise and stay safe. Already 2 members of Hype Unit are out of there. Baronic didn't get the memo, finds a fadeaway kill on Ammuel. And they're happy with that. I mean, you can't walk away from that not smiling if you're Hype Unit.
Two Phoenixes, 20,000 gold, 25 minutes into the game, Fire Giant respawning soon. Yeah, Hype Unit's absolutely fine with everything that's happened. And look at the gold and XP deficit. I mean, there's still no one on the side of OHEY is level 20 yet, the highest around level 18. That's not enough 26 minutes in. The support, Mineral, he is higher level or tied with the highest level of anyone on the side of OHEY. Absolute insanity. Baronic's been having the game of his life, freely casting in every single engagement, just teleporting through the backline, because no one on the side of OHEY can lock him down. Kirmi is the best person for it, and he's been using his blinks trying to chase out Layers, trying to clean up kills on a Mineral. He's been forced out in a bat of hell in defensive position every single time, so he can't use it as a mobility tool to lock down this Yanis. Nothing's working out for OHEY. They have to go for a miraculous play. Next time this Fire Giant goes down, you're not going to be able to defend it. You're worried about the Fire Minion waves flooding your base. They're going to have to take the engagement on that right side Phoenix. And honestly, if Hype Unit even touches the Phoenix, OHEY's likely already lost the siege. They're going to have to take that fight fast and hard outside of their own Phoenix. Try and blow someone up right as Hype Unit tries to engage themselves.
Well, that Fury is going to go down with 30 seconds to spare before any sort of Fire Giant respawns will be coming through. And they have Pyromancer as well, so you're going to get back even faster if you're Hype Unit here. This is a dangerous position to be in if you're OHEY, to say the least. There's still a lot of towers up on the side of Hype Unit. Maybe one you could count as dead in mid, since it's just a breath away from falling down. But otherwise, I mean, there's a ton of gold on the map for them. They just don't have the ability to get aggressive into it. And like you said, they can't really defend this FG. It almost all comes down to the defense.
Yeah, it's gonna take a miracle. Look at the builds, too. Frasian just now starting to work on his 5th item. No 6th item for Oceans either. We're starting to see, finally, Amuel starts working into what could be a Divine Ruin, a Spear of Magus, something like that. But no matter what, these guys aren't going to hit the proper power spikes to defend their base. They're going to have to go for something fast and quick, and already, Frasian was out of position on the Tier 2 tower on Hype Unit side, so he's not going to be there for the Phoenix defense.
Well, fast and quick is exactly how this Phoenix is falling over here and right now. Frasian, unfortunately, 1-7, looking to potentially become 1-8. At least that's the goal for Hype Unit. Phoenix goes down here, and now they're going to get aggressive. That's going to be a 2-for-1. Baronic finds a double kill. He's going to be immortal this time around. Layers picks up one of the stragglers. Dishonored and Oceans, the only ones left standing. And honestly, why waste your time killing them when you can take down the Titan? It's 28 minutes in, even. 20,000 plus gold here for Hype Unit. They had control for a long time in this game, and they're going to be able to showcase that with the Titan kill.
Yeah, all of that control in the early game due in large part to the duo lane for Hype Unit just absolutely winning out. And then in mid, Baronic gets an early lead. Layers gets an early lead. It's hard to break down a game like that, Chad. When one team just absolutely outclasses the other across the board for 20 full minutes, it's hard to give credit to any individual play, any individual thought process, but maybe Mineral is the person that stands out the most, because a lot of the early game aggression was off of him blinking into weird scenarios, finding multi-man CC, and setting up for the squad. Maybe Mineral should get a lot of credit here.
I mean, he did a ton in terms of control for him. I think we see Baronic have a stellar game, but even look at this. Guess where those kills are coming from? That's right, Mineral's setup, as you highlighted it. Layers goes undying throughout all of that. I mean, it's maybe a dream team for your mid and jungle otherwise.
They just didn't have anyone that could contend with the pressure that was coming out in the early. Amuel wasn't allowed to hit his power spikes because Layers was there, absolutely putting him in the dirt. Baronic gets to pop off from the early lead established for him. I mean, everything works out. That's textbook Smite play from Hype Unit, despite some sloppy engagements in the mid game.
I mean, for the most part, again, they read where they wanted to go. Mineral, there was a certain point where it felt like he stopped playing Smite and just, well, I guess stopped playing Conquest, started playing Arena. He was only looking for where are they, how can I fight, where can I go? I mean, to the point where he's getting 3-man mezzes. A lot of it worked out well for them. And we don't see a lot of Kumba, so maybe it's something you don't have a lot of practice against if you're OHEY. But now, I mean, you've kind of got your backs against the wall. That game didn't, I guess it took long enough. It was kind of standard in terms of time length, but you spent the last half of it thinking about what you were going to do next game because you were at a 10k plus gold deficit the entire time. What kind of changes do you want to see? Because Yanis, he's not top of the crop. The same thing can go for the Kumba. There weren't necessarily big meta picks there for Hype Unit.
If I'm OHEY, my first order of business is definitely trying to find at least one lane where we can establish dominance based off of picks. Last game, they lost in the duo lane to the Ullr. They lost in mid because of Robin getting pressure out of the jungle. They lost in solo because, well, Wolves is kind of nutty. So maybe pick a highly aggressive duo lane, something they can just trade in, constantly look for pressure. I'm thinking Sylvanas or Izanami just to get that lane pressure through minions. Anything that's going to allow Kirimi to have a fantastic spot to look for ganks, because last game, he couldn't go anywhere. Everywhere was losing.
Yeah, it's easy to forget that there was a first blood there for the Ullr on Hype Unit. It kind of started out real rough for OHEY when that one goes that way, so looking to maybe change things up. But last time, I mean, they banned, Jormungandr, they banned the Thor. Like, nothing necessarily stood out as a bad ban from them. And so far, they're going to stick with it. I don't know if either of these teams have much to change in it, except, as you pointed, when it comes to the picks, maybe choosing something a little more aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, Hype Unit's not going to change anything, right? They got everything that they wanted. They've been playing these picks for as long as I've been watching them in Season 7, and they played it very well. They win a game increasingly, convincingly. There we go. I wouldn't change anything on the side of Hype Unit. OHEY, though, they got to hit the chopping block. They got to revisit that whiteboard, work up a new plan. And I think it's a lot going to do in the fact that they had an incredibly aggressive mid laner who can get exploited in the early game. They had a duo lane that lost out. They got to pick some sort of aggression somewhere. They might even try and target pick away some of what Hype Unit showed last game. Either way, something's going to change, and I'm excited to see what it is.
Well, now it's Ullr instead of Horus that OHEY are going to be able to ban out. And not Hell instead of Merlin, Scylla instead of Merlin. Last time around, there was the Merlin Hell Afro from Hype Unit. The Scylla comes in, Afro and Hell stay the same. Camazotz joins the banning down there for OHEY. I mean, Scylla in the first ban phase, I mean, what does that scream to you? Is there somebody that she can counter out directly that it's worth banning her this early?
No. Small, short answer, no. Beginning of the year, I'm a Scylla hater. I don't think she's a great god. I think she's incredibly weak in the early game, but has a strong late game that still gets outclassed by the likes of Raijin, Merlin. But then Baskin showed me that Scylla can be absolutely dominant as an incredibly safe pick. You really just use that ultimate for the CC immunity and mobility as you reposition through team fights. Baskin played it incredibly well. So now I'm willing to say that, yeah, Scylla can be played at a very high level and can see success, but banning it out this early on, she's not any better than those other mages by default, and she doesn't really have a counter matchup that's just absolutely dominant. You might say that she's good into Anubis, because I'm a Monster is never going to miss when Anubis is doing anything, but why are you going to lock in Anubis? Is that the plan, Hype Unit? I don't think so. This Scylla ban's just a question mark from me.
Well, maybe hitting OHEY where they're comfortable. They grab Nuwa. It should be more than likely the mid lane. I can't imagine her going anywhere else, but she's going to be in here, and she brings burst damage, she brings control, but she doesn't come through. It's very far and few in between when we actually see her locked in. And against Merlin, Ganesh, King Arthur, I was going on all day yesterday about how much I love those Dharmic Pillars, and I don't know if this Nike Nuwa Jormungandr has what it takes right now.
If they can focus out Ganesh in the early, he has some of the same failings that Khepri or Geb has. He can be heavily exploited in the early game. He's so easy to shut down. He's a free pick until he gets those Dharmic Pillars online. Nike absolutely can do that. Finds his knock-up, gets some follow-up from the team. Ganesh should fall in the early game. Jormungandr is going to be incredibly safe, so you can leave him on an island, and Nuwa, with any form of CC to set her up, has some insane burst potential out of the mids. You can set up the Clay Soldiers, the Shining Metal, use the ultimate to chase down anyone that survives. This can work out, but right now, if Hype Unit make it to the 20-minute mark or the 15-minute mark unscathed, the dive potential that they have from this King Arthur, the damage potential, the CC, the setup, they've got it all in spades, and their team should work cohesively. I see exactly how their team fights are planning to work out, whereas I can't see that same thread between OHEY's individual picks.
Well, Layers gets a lot of weight there in the ban phase as it's the Raven and the Erlong Shin that is banned away from him. But it's Fafnir Chernobog to be able to come through. Chernobog was 1-8 last game, I believe, so maybe not the cleanest it could have been. But with Fafnir beside him, does he feel safer? Does he maybe feel a little more in danger, especially now that there's a Vammen jungle on the other side?
He is definitely less safe. He's not going to have the added mobility of a Yamoja. He's not going to have the walls to keep him alive. He's not going to have the healing to help him sustain out in this lane. He's going to have a lot more kill potential. You got the long-range stun from the hammer. You get the stim from the underhanded tactics. You have Coerce as well to help set you up. There's a lot that Fafnir and Chernobog can do together, but safety, that's not it.
Well, you wanted him to be maybe a little more aggressive, so if safety isn't the call, maybe fighting is the call to try and force Mineral to be uncomfortable. I mean, if they're going to make the roll, this is the time to do it, right? Someone you want to keep down early, plus 2 people who could potentially fight early on. Good setup. Gaijay's not on that Uller, so maybe he's a little less safe than he was before. But, I mean, you've got Nuwa in mid. Maybe that's going to help you clean up some stragglers when they run away. She doesn't necessarily scream to me the answer to what Hype Unit were able to do last game.
Nuwa does have some of the best self-peel in the game. If Layers starts to run him down and doesn't have the ultimate available, if Wolves tries to lock down this Nuwa in a late-game fight, Clay Soldiers, Shining Metal, walk away. It's going to stun no matter what because of how close range these warriors have to get. So maybe the plan is have the 4-man squad of OHEY look for the dive in the late-game team fight, use Frasian's Global to get to the backline safely, have Oceans and Dishonored just jump in with Kirimi, and then meanwhile have Amiel just distract the front line of Hype Unit, try and survive for as long as he can, and almost have a pseudo base race or backline kill race for both teams. That could be the strategy, but it's hard to execute.
All right, now Gaijay under a little bit of pressure from Oceans. A nice blink early on to get the stun. They don't find the kill over here, and meanwhile in mid there was a little bit of a fight, realistically, between Layers and Kirmi for dominance over those mid Harpies. And now it's going to be pressure on Amuel looking for that first blood. Doesn't have the cooldowns to be able to continue chasing that one, so Layers is going to get him low, and that's going to lead maybe not to the kill, but to the pressure at least on the red buff.
Yeah, if Layers had help from Baronic there, that would have been a kill. He really only needed 1, maybe 2 autos from the Merlin, but it seemed like Baronic's idea was, I'm going to go farm my own red buff.
Well, Mineral stunned out. Now it's going to be the jump from Kirmi to confirm the kill. Layers is going to be able to run away, but this time you get your jungler first blood if you're OHEY, which is a good start. Now it's a 2v1 over here in the duo. Gaijay has to play it safe.
That's the first time OHEY was a little bit more proactive on their defense, and they learned from last game. Hype Unit is constantly going to be looking for these early game buff invades. That's how they establish their lead. They're not looking for dives. They're not looking to rotate around as a death ball. They're getting early leads purely off of just stripping away the jungle. So OHEY group up as 4, rotate in, sacrifice a little bit of farm in the lane of that long lane, but they do get the first blood. They aren't quite able to defend the red buff, but they get the timer, they get the kill, and it's a huge dissuasion factor. Now Hype Unit has to think twice if they want to move in and potentially trade out another life.
Well, they have to be careful dodging out, very specifically, those hammers that keep coming through. If Oceans connects, it's going to be a lot of trouble for them. And now we have maybe the biggest stalemate in SMITE. King Arthur going up against Jormungandr. It's not necessarily going to be a high kill lane over there, but it is going to maybe be the zone of aggression for these junglers. Layers comes in just to confirm a buff. Kirmi looks like they want to go in. They can't quite decide on it. And I think OHEY, well, I maybe burned too many times from getting aggressive last game, or just going to let that one fall into the wayside.
I think Kirimi just saw that the blue buff was already dropped. Him rotating in there at least forces the Layers, or Wolves rather, to not be able to get the farm. He separates that lane so that it's really only Layers getting the farm from the blue, which should put Dishonored slightly ahead as long as he gets the split on his own, which it looks like he will. So net win, I would say, for OHEY if they're trying to keep that soul laner down, which keeping Wolves down, that's not a mistake. That's a win condition for any team playing against Hype Unit. That said, Layers is starting to slowly establish his own XP lead, due in no small fact that he got some solo farm himself. Now he's about half level up, should hit level 5 on the next wave or so. That's a huge power spike for this Vivana.
And that's actually where my question for you kind of arises. Raven, I mean, he used to be a warrior, but since then has turned into an assassin. It makes sense to have him go into the jungle, even if you're going to play him in a very similar style. Vamana hasn't really stood out to me. Like, he's been played a ton over here, but he's not been the end-all be-all. How much pressure is on Layers to be the carry that he was last game, or is it falling this time onto, like, Gaijay to step up to the plate?
It depends on what methodology Layers approaches this Vamana jungle. We can see him go the Sino route and pick up an Atalanta's bow, an Executioner, a Crusher, and be a pseudo Mercury just looking to constantly fight in with his auto attacks, or he can go a more bruiser-focused build where he's able to zone out the enemy mid laner very easily with his ultimate in the late-game team fight. I imagine, knowing Layers, this guy's looking to pop off. He's going to go towards damage. I'm thinking Talaria, straight into a Crusher, maybe then the Atalantas. He's looking to constantly look for damage in the early, which means he's going to need to establish a lead. A Vamana from behind going this auto-attack-focused build is so easy to shut down even when he's in Big Baby form. So without an early lead, he's got no base tankiness in his kit. He's got no way to stick in these team fights and really leverage the auto-attack build. So he's looking absolutely to farm up aggressively in the early game.
Well, he has at least a little bit of an early lead. He's one level above Kirmi right now. Both having their ults, so Sentinel of Zeus, the shield, can come down for Kirmi at any time. But that Big Baby was something you had highlighted earlier on as something that could potentially help chase down Amuel. And this is maybe the most potent we can see it. There's no anti-heal items online for OHEY, which maybe screams as the only opportunity for Layers to feel the full effect of his ult without having to hope and time it properly based on itemization and relic choices that come through. And that's, the other big portion I think that we've seen with Vamana. People kind of remembered how to deal with him, which is that health regen 1% or 1% that comes through is really solid, but it's Parodic that's caught out over here. Darmic Pillars comes down. Sentinel of Zeus is going to be good to keep Kirmi in the fight. The jump over the wall gets him out of there, and Layers is left trying to figure out who he wants to chase down. Frasian going to get caught out. The beads are going to be used to try and disengage, but Layers is sticking on top of him as much as he can, but he bites off more than he can chew. Oceans helps burn him down, and that ricochet just off the mark there. And they're going to be able to walk away with a 2-for-0 trade in favor of OHEY.
And now 1,200 gold as well in the pocket. OHEY establishing an early lead. That's what they need to do. A lot of the aggression that a Hype Unit has is going to be based on this Vamana jungle, so keeping him down, making sure that Kirmi gets the early lead is going to be so huge. Nike should scale better into the late game insofar as OHEY itemizes properly. I'm thinking they need some anti-heal, at least one shell to deal with the pressure that this Vamana can bring from the ultimate. The upgraded shell is going to be able to completely mitigate everything that Layers is going to want to do, blocking out 3 autos, giving them a shield that he's going to work through afterward. 2 shells, this Vamana might as well be removed from the game. 1 shell, you have a little bit of leeway on the side of Hype Unit, but OHEY right now in an early position to take the lead. If they decide to exploit it and go for maybe a gold Fury, maybe something like that, with Nuwa, if they assume defensive positioning around a neutral objective, Hype Unit's going to have to fight through Clay Soldiers to get into OHEY's composition. That's not what you want to do. It's almost a free stun.
Well, you've got Layers and Wolves getting aggressive in the jungle over there. They don't have the timer on that blue buff, so they think it should be up soon. They just don't see it just yet, and Layers looks like he's going to wait for that experience. Gaijay, a little bit of trouble over here, about half health. And Kirmi's in the neighborhood, but they don't want to dive that tier 1, especially not with Mineral there. But it gives them the control. Now they can get those Oracle Harpies or start up that Gold Fury that you had mentioned a little bit earlier if they want to try and push that aggression to the limit.
It seems like they're just fine taking small, meditated fights in the enemy jungle. OHEY doesn't really want to push their lead just yet, which makes sense. It seems like they know that they should scale a little bit better into the late game just because they have this Nike. Nuwa, incredibly potent in the late game, as is Fafnir. Might as well wait. Chernobog as well has one of the strongest stims of any hunter in the game come level 20. So maybe they're just content playing it slowly, making sure that they don't bleed out, make no risky plays, and make sure that Hype Unit can't call their way back into the lead.
All right, now Kirmi seems to be kicked back. He's comfortable in, his chair. His Maxnomic chair, to be specific. That's going to be good for him, but not a lot of aggression that's been leading too much. Ocean's maybe trying to bite off more than they can chew. They're looking for the red buff this time around, but they're just kind of controlling the jungle out of pure body presence alone, and because of that, they're kind of just coasting through on this experience and level lead that they have.
Frasian trades out his ultimate. Mineral trades out the Dharmic Pillars as well. That's a net positive, I'd say, for Hype Unit, which is hard to say when you're trading out such a strong ultimate, but getting rid of that global pressure from Frasian, making sure that he's incapable of rotating into a team fight across the map, that's absolutely so strong. Now they don't have to worry if Hype Unit decide to maybe gank out Dishonored or look towards the Pyromancer. Frasian is just not going to be able to get there in time.
Well, Frasian right now is in some trouble. He's stuck in the wall. That's going to be Nuwa showing where everyone's at. A little bit of damage to come through. Gives them time for Kiermi and Oceans to rotate over. But now they're in a 2v4, depending on the collapse from Hype Unit. Mineral going to get caught out here, but it's going to be the saving play from Layers. The knockup going to be good, along with the Suns there to get Kiermi low. The big baby comes through, but a jump over the wall gets the gap that you need. Hype Unit, I think, play that well. And there's just too much disengage from OHEY.
Mineral just, he was walking away, immediately turns and starts walking into Kiermi, almost loses his life for it, but then Layers rotates in, turns what could have been a free pick onto the Nesher into a free pick onto the Fafnir as he gets a little bit overzealous on the enemy purple buff. I don't know, weird play from OHEY to not commit to the fight, weird play from Hype Unit to have Mineral just walk at the enemies, trade out over 90% of his health without using a single ability, but overall, positive for Hype, and now the gold lead that was close to 1,000 is cut to about 200.
And they've been able to dwindle down, well, the kill lead. Now it's just 3 times as many kills. I guess that hasn't changed too much, but at 3-1, and being able to make a favorable trade for them, even if it is more Ocean's mistake than it was them finding something out of there. But trying to shut down Kiermi right now might be the big play. 2-0-0, and almost every single time he gets super low, Layers or someone just isn't able to close the gap between them and this Nike. And that's what she's got. The shield, that's one thing to look at when it comes down to the Sentinel of Zeus. But her ability to just jump over the wall, if Amana doesn't have his blink, he's not going to be able to follow up.
But Kiermi's been constantly looking for these ganks in the duo lane, around the gold free, around red buff. He's constantly looking for aggression. Meanwhile, Layers has been farming. He's just been sitting in his own jungle, clearing out buffs, trading with waves, doing whatever he can to close the gap before the fight, and now he already has, look at the levels, 10-10.
Well, that's going to be Nuwa forced up into her ult. The Dharmic Pillars were dropped, which might be the go sign for OHEY, and they're going to blink in. Mineral going to be locked down. The Suns are dropped around him, but it's not going to be enough to save his life. Dragon Form forced out from Oceans, and they're going to collapse in on Layers. That's just a burst mode. Amuel gets a double kill. And now they're looking to chase down Baronic half health, and that's going to be a good silence, but not enough to continue chasing him. Kiermi low enough that they don't want to go in, but Frasian didn't get the memo. Instead, uses his ult to engage this time around. Chases down Baronic. Gaijay left alone over here, and there's no chance for Wolves to make a rotation in. This should be a Gold Fury.
That's the tall task of having to walk into a gold free when Nuwa's already set up. Layers gets clotheslined by the Shining Metal Clay Soldiers combo, as does Mineral. He gets absolutely decimated by all that damage, and then afterward, Amuel just uses the ultimate, goes up in the air, finds a little bit more. Gold Fury should be free. It'd take a heroic play from Gaijay.
Ooh, he walks up, and it looks like he's trying to throw out some autos. I don't know if they could have even connected there from the bodies that were surrounding it from OHEY, but the mindset was there. And now he's kept them in combat long enough for his team to respawn and run back in. Dharmic Pillars are dropped. Kiermi and Dishonored are going to be over here at the red buff. They're going to get pushed away, but it seems like OHEY are more than content to grab a Fury and run.
That's a pretty fatty swing in favor of OHEY. Now nearly 3,000 gold in the lead off of 1-1 engagement and a gold fury, but Pyromancer's coming up online. That's where the next eyes are going to be set forward. Hype Unit have learned their lesson. Walking straight into a Nuwa when she's surrounded by her team, probably not the best idea, so I imagine Layers are going to take some nuance to his next approach instead of just dashing straight in.
Now, how do you deal with her? Like, I mean, outside of just don't dash straight in, well, how do you play around Amuel, especially in these engagements where it's around these objectives? He's able to set up a little bit earlier on, uses his ult to get that vision on you, so he kind of recognizes what plays you'll make before you do them.
You have ways in. Layers could, instead of engaging with a dash, go straight into the ultimate, use that CC immunity, and force OHEY to disperse. You could send Mineral in first, drop the Dharmic Pillars from a range, use the silence so she can't detonate the Clay Soldiers. There are plenty of ways that you can work around it. Have Layers go around the backside instead of walking directly in. Play a more assassin-esque role, and instead of being this warrior engagement factor, you can play from behind. There are plenty of ways to deal with it. Nuwa is an incredibly exploitable god because of her lack of mobility. The second she gets caught once, she's going to have a very hard time escaping.
Well, speaking of caught once, Wolves right now caught out. Kiermi uses the Sentinel of Zeus, is trying to chase him down. World Serpent going to be used by Dishonored to go in and engage. The Layers, Mineral, Baronic have made the rotation over, and now, yeah, they're forced to fall back. That's 2 pretty big defensive ults, maybe 3 if you want to count Amuels in there as well, that are now offline here for OHEY. Maybe a nice window of opportunity for Hype Unit to get aggressive, but Mineral, once again, by himself walks in. Layer's going to come around the back. Dharmic Pillar's going to drop down, and Amuel is locked in place. This is exactly what you need if you're the big baby. Chase him down and look for the kill, but it's going to be Amuel. Instead, turns it around, at least gets Baronic. Layers takes too much damage in the process, forced to fall back, and now Wolves, unfortunately, still low from the first engagement. Frazen, with that rotation from his ult, is going to be huge. The Suns going to allow a disengage here, but the pings are coming through. This is a big win for OHEY.
They had no right winning that engagement. Layers comes around the back end, completely shuts down Amuel almost single-handedly, but Wolves has to trade out his life creating space.
No.
Baronic gets caught out in the engagement. Now Fire Giant at 15 minutes. Hype Unit has no idea. It should go down, but maybe a life gets traded out from just the damage.
Yeah, pretty low there on Kiermi, pretty low there on Oceans. This knockback going to be very dangerous to play against. Lava Pool's going to be coming through. Takes a while to burn this thing down at level 15, but maybe taking some notes out of Sanguine. They know how to PvE this one, and they're going to be able to dodge most of the damage there to stay alive here. And that's a big play and a huge swing for 15 minutes. Like, that's immense amounts of control.
And look at how many towers are still left on the map. Sieging at tier 2, 15 minutes in, 5-on-5 with Fire Giant. Still going to be pretty hard, but take it down tier 1s, that should be easy. Getting a Gold Fury when it respawns shortly, that should be easy. There's so many ways for OHEY to push this gold lead without taking risks and just leveraging this Fire Giant to make sure that Hype Unit doesn't want to fight into it. They're already 4,000 gold up. They could very easily exit this Fire Giant 8,000 gold up without even taking a single risky engagement. Hype Unit kind of just have to sit on their hands, wait for OHEY to make a mistake, and if they decide to only go for tier 1s, I don't think there's going to be any mistakes had.
As long as they don't, again, bite off more than they can chew this time around. That's going to be the tier 1 in mid. That swings in their favor. That's actually the first tower of the game, 16 minutes in. Not a lot of pressure gained out overall from any of the lanes and how they've been pushed. It is a prestigious Oni Fury that is going to be spawning up in about 40 seconds. It's one that you don't necessarily want going against you, especially when the team already has Fire Giant. If you're looking to push tier 2s, that pressure might be able to help out. But right now, tier 1 and left. Kiermi caught out over here in the jungle. Wolves going to get stunned just as much in return, but it's Layers into the backline looking to chase down Amuel. Forces the ult out, and that's going to be the big baby. He's going to lay in wait for Amuel to come down, and that's going to be the chase. But the fog's going to be enough. Dharmic Pillars separate the fight. And it's Hype Unit on one side, surrounding Oceans with the World Serpent crashing between them, but they're looking for the kill onto this dragon. They finally find one. Oceans goes down. Fafnir out of here, but Gaijay loses his life in the process. Frasian low. Kiermi about half health. And Hype Unit call on to a retreat. They're going to fall back here. I guess taking Oceans is their kind of mainly only victory.
Give me 50 years to guess how that fight starts, and I would never say Hype Unit groups up at 5 and takes an engagement in the jungle, because they're not favored in the fight. And OHEY proving it now. Kiermi soloing out Baronic, and now look at Mineral dead as well. Wolves, yeah, rest in peace, bud. You're surrounded by 4. They have Fire Giant. You're probably going to lose your Phoenix here, buds. Hype Unit is getting over-aggressive. What are they doing there? Layers able to trade out a tier 1. Not a huge deal. OHEY absolutely running away with this game.
I saw a couple of members looking like they were going to back there on the side of Hype Unit. And it looks like Jormungandr, so Dishonored, backed and then teleported right back over. They're going to go for the Oni Fury, so that at least swings that one as they come through. You get the tier 1 if you're Layers, and I guess you saved your own life there. But you're losing a ton in the process. It's a big old gold swing It's going to be now in favor of OHEY, let alone the control they're going to get from another minute of Fire Giant plus these Oni minions. And it seems like they want to run it down right.
They can run it down right, use the last couple seconds of Fire Giant, and then you're still really close on that respawn. They could group up on the Tier 2 tower, just meander around there for a little bit, force Hype Unit into one concentrated spot, and then OHEY can back up into the jungle once Fire Giant starts to respawn, get the defensive positioning, ward it out, force Hype Unit to face check it. That's going to be an unsavory situation, to say the least, especially considering the gold deficit as it is. It's going to take a lot for Hype Unit. We've seen that even when they take the engagements and they start off well, they're not able to cleanly win them.
Well, we've got 3 people who haven't died on OHEY. Kirmi right here is one of them. Dishonored right there is another one. There goes that first Tier 1 over here and right. So all the Tier 1s off the board, only 2 Tier 2s standing. And Fire Giant's going to dissipate right here, right now. So OHEY are going to start to slow their roll, just for a little bit. But Oni minions pushing forward over there on left. That's going to give them a lot of pressure. Forces someone, looks like potentially Gaijay, out of this fight. And with Fire Giant coming up in less than a minute, with the Pyromancer shortly before that, maybe you're going to lose some pressure over here. But once again, caught out in the jungle right now. This time it's Layers, and that's going to be a lot of burst damage coming down from Amul. He goes up into the air to try and get the last little bit of damage. Kirmi chasing it out, and Sentinel of Zeus will be enough to burn it. That's going to be 3 ults used in the process of finding that kill, but it gives him a lot of pressure over here in the mid.
3 ults used for the most valuable target on Hype Unit. Yeah, I'll take that trade. And it seems like OHEY know how valuable he was, because instead of going to fire, they're going to group up on this Tier 2.
Oh, Mineral once again low at the beginning of the engagement, forced to fall back, but that's a jump in from Kirmi. Zoning out 3 on their own right now. Wolves going to be able to get aggressive in return, but the Tier 2 falls down. The defense the Hype Unit had here is not enough to save the tower. They only have 1 remaining after this siege. Fire Giants respond, Pyro on the table. And even though they burned a lot of their ults in the process, OHEY should be able to get those back off timer in plenty of time to be able to find the next
5
engagement.
seconds left on Layers, no problem. Pyromancer falls for free. Hype Unit grouping up around it. They know that they can't do Fire Giant just yet, but OHEY don't need it. They can look for the engagement. 10,000 gold on the lead. Sure, they've probably got about 2,000 in pocket, but that's not a huge deal. Their builds are so huge. Layers has been effectively shut down. You realize now that even when he's in the big baby form, you can absolutely burst through it. I'm sure that OHEY are completely fine having Hype Unit step up a little bit too far forward. Maybe allow them the opportunity to think that they can defend this Fire Giant and then take the fight, win the game off the tail end of it. 21 minutes in, 10,000 gold, that's crippling.
So there's a lot more to it than what I'm about to say. Still not terribly impressed by the Vamana jungle so far, at least that Layers has brought in. Kirmi on the other side, 5-0-6, 4-1-6 for Amul, and then 4-0-5 there for Frasian. Last game, they were having trouble keeping the backline safe. This time, it doesn't seem like Hype Unit can even touch them, let alone try to find a kill. And Wolves takes a lot of damage in the process of just, getting in there for a zone. Maybe a little bit of poke for himself. That's the danger that Hype Unit have been finding themselves time and time again.
Wolves at level 16 trying to frontline like that is not going to work. 2 auto attacks from Frasian drop him to about half health. Wolves has to show some respect going forward, but with this very tanky build, he's going true defense items instead of the bruiser items. He doesn't have damage online. He's so far behind that he really doesn't have defense ready. He's just about worthless, and that's not something you get to often say about Wolves. This guy is known for dominating lanes even when his team's behind, but at level 16, he can't do much in these fights. The most value he's going to get is potentially burning up beads or setting up a kill with his ultimate. Either way, he is a completely squishy target. Even Kirmi could very easily blow him up. There's not much that Wolves has in terms of agency going forward. If Hype Unit want to win this engagement, it's really all on Veronic to find the damage. And so far, he's been the target of the majority of the aggression from OHEY. I don't see how he's going to find it.
Well, Layers right now maybe giving up Fire Giant to put some pressure on the Tier 2. Will be rotating in, but FG is going to be low. It's going to be a big steal, but no one's in room to be able to grab that one. And now they're getting aggressive. Amul going to be able to burn down Veronic. Frasian looking for some kills with himself. Dishonored over there. Now Wolves and Layers going to get aggressive, trying to find Amuel, but it's a 3-on-2 here. The Dragon Form going to come out. They get rid of the mid laner for OHEY, but Layers loses his life in the process. Wolves is going to die shortly thereafter with the rotations. Dishonored finally gets taken down in the backline, but Gaijay is the only one left standing. Vax is going to be able to live through this engagement, but now you've got a team with a Fire Giant for the second time on 3 members, ready to push a tier 2.
2 for 4 and Fire Giant in favor of OHEY. And I'm going to say it, that's better than I expected the engagement to go for Hype Unit. With Layers starting out on that tier 2 tower, OHEY get a little bit overzealous, start diving in deep. They leave Amuel behind almost alone. It's really only Frasian back there to help him. So Layers picks up a free kill. Dishonored dies because they started to peel back the rest of OHEY to try and deal with that backline dive from Layers and Wolves, and that leaves Dishonored alone to die. Hype Unit manufacture a bunch of engagements that they're able to get at least a trade. Still, net positive for OHEY. 12,000 gold, Fire Giant, all the Phoenixes are now exposed. But Hype Unit show that they can still fight in, and slight mistakes will be punished, but it's going to take more than just a slight mistake at this point.
I mean, you need a full-on Hail Mary for this throw to exist on the side of OHEY. A lot of control that's coming through, and, you know, it's maybe not the 20,000 lead yet, is the word I'm going to add on to that Hype Unit were able to get last time around this timer, actually, when we were approaching 24, 25 minutes. But, I mean, you have to look at the damage that's coming down from this new Wa. She's at the top of the charts. Just behind her is the Nike. It's ridiculous how much they've been able to do. And Amuel, very specifically, I mean, doesn't have too much to worry about. There isn't, as of right now, a lot of magical defense on the side of Hype Unit. And they're looking for some of those hybrid items, but maybe it's a little bit too late. Maybe even going for an Urchin to try and stop some of these stuns. But Amuel has been a massive portion of the success here for, I think, OHEY.
He's dealing it all. Anytime he gets dove, he's killing at least one person. Anytime they're running away, you can at least rely on the new ultimate to hit somebody. He's finding damage consistently, and look at his direct lane counterpart, Barodic. He got removed from this game early on. 0-5 is the current slash line, and he hasn't found any damage. 94-100, 25 minutes in. That's shameful on a Merlin. This guy should be able to at least drop the Ice Storm, dissuade OHEY from diving, but he's getting blown up so quick, so often, and the peel from Mineral really hasn't amounted to anything. Barodic's left alone on an island, and he's not got any lifelines.
Yeah, completely different tagline from last game, and now Mineral, once again, getting aggressive, but this time he's going to walk away with more than half of his life as opposed to less. It's going to be the 4-1 split. Kirmi up against Layers. Layers not looking too good. Dharmic Pillar's going to get dropped. World Serpent coming through for Dishonored. Using it for the retreat here. Too low health to continue the engagement. Going to look for a little bit of knock-up and damage. And the crits flying true, at least for a little bit there for Frasian onto Wolves. Forces him out of the engagement. Layers trying to find Oceans on the side, but he's just too tanky to burn down by yourself. You get a little bit of help from Gaijay, but you lose Mineral as well. It's a 2-for-1 so far. The Phoenix going to go down. Double kill for Kirmi in the backline as they're diving. And now Wolves, Baronic, the last two standing, forced to hang out in the fountain as they watch this bird go down. They got rid of Oceans, but I don't know if that's going to be enough.
And the minion wave's already pushed up in mid. Layers could have gotten that kill on Ocean safely, but he was a little bit greedy with his ultimate, holds on to it a little bit too long, and then the blink in from Kirmi absolutely stuffs the aggression, finds the kill, gets the ultimate off for about half a second before he sees the Shadow Realm, and now Wolves has this heroic task ahead of him as he just falls instead of performing it. And now the Titan, yeah, that's open for damage. The only one standing in front of him is Baronic, and what's he going to do? He's not blocking damage. This man's squishy, and he's level 20, but he's not got a full build.
Well, Mineral respawning right now. Baronic low, and that's going to be the kill. Dishonored trades his life out in the process, but one Ganesh is not going to be enough to turn that one around. Titan goes down. OHEY tie this one up. And they made the changes you wanted to see there in Game 2. They push us to a Game 3 here. Hype Unit, I mean, it just felt like they didn't have control, well, very similarly to how they had control from Minute 1 in the first game. They just didn't get it that game at all. It was all OHEY since the beginning.
Yeah, I'm going to confidently say that neither one of these teams is really all that adept at playing from behind, so both teams should have identified that by now. The lead that OHEY got in the early was minuscule, about 1,000, 2,000 for 10 minutes straight. That's not that big of a deal, but Hype Unit kept choosing poor engagements and allowed OHEY to just go ahead and grow that lead continuously. That's the exact same thing that happened in Game 1. So what should the focus be for both these squads? Early game aggression. If you can't play from behind, don't give the other enemy team the opportunity to make you do it. Both teams should be going for an early lead.
Well, it seemed like the entire story flipped. Last game it was Layers and Baronic that were really the big deals. This time it was Kiermy and Amuel. And even though Amuel got targeted out, I think, a little bit more often than we got to see Baronic on that Yanis, this new Wa put such a huge target on her back that, I mean, Layers had to spend his life most of these engagements just to make sure he could get that mid laner. And, I mean, as we saw in most of these engagements, it was a 2-for-1 trade at best.
Yeah, he just wasn't getting the value from the Vamata. Vamata's a god, especially with a build that Layers goes, which is the auto-attack-centric build. You need to be able to stick in these fights for an extended period of time. You need to be able to leverage the Execution or the Stone-Cutting Sword, which require multiple auto-attacks to land on a single target to get the value. And he's just too squishy. The lead was too big for OHEY that even when Layers gets the engagement started off properly, he's not able to stick in it long enough to really get any value.
Well, hey, these teams right now are tied 1-for-1. Both of them need to make some adaptations as we go into game number 3. And as you highlighted, they don't do too well from behind, so maybe we'll see some early game changes that come through. But we'll get into game number 3, picks and bans, all of that right after this break. Welcome back, everyone, as we're just going to jump straight into it here. The teams are tied up at 1-1. So we're going into game number 3 coming in. Both of the times we've had OHEY ban out, specifically some targets at layers, and on Hype Unit, they've focused a little bit more in the mid lane. I mean, Mifflin, if you're coming into this and you're changing something up, where do you start? Is it bans or is it really all draft?
It's a little bit of both. Might as well take away some of that bridge early aggression picks. Both teams should at this point have realized that they're not really the best at playing from behind. So I imagine we see maybe a Robin ban come out from OHEY. Maybe we see some more bans like Thor, Ratatasker, these early game gods that can get involved early out of the jungle. That's where I'm looking at. And as far as draft goes, I want them picking those same things if they don't get banned. I want Raven, Erlang Shen, Warriors, Hercules in support. These guys are looking for early game leads because both games so far in this set have been both won and lost in the first 10 or so minutes.
In the last game, it was Scylla that was first banned there by Hype Unit. This time around, they recognize Kiermy's Nike, and they go ahead and throw the ban out. Same 3 coming out for OHEY, though, and if track record comes true, this should be a hell, at least, for Hype Unit. Depends on how they're feeling. That's trying to shut down the healing maybe before it shows up, and this time it's going to be the Jormungandr, so even a little bit of respect thrown over towards Dishonored. Now, with Hell being on the board, does that change the pace of this game? Is she someone you mad scramble for, or does it not change too much?
The degree of execution that it takes to play Hell is so incredibly high that it's not a god that you could just throw into your draft. It's a god that you have to practice. That's why, even though we've seen huge success in the SPL from Paul on the Hell, not every team is locking it in on cooldown, even though it's usually only really banned against PK. It's because that god's hard to play. Her early game is abysmal, so you kind of want to not really deal with it for the most part if you're not really adept at playing that character. So having Hell available, as long as OHEY doesn't have a Hell specialist and Hype Unit doesn't either, I don't think we'll really end up seeing it.
Well, it's the first time Wolves won't be playing this King Arthur, and Scylla instead locked in here for Hype Unit. An interesting thing for them to be able to pick up this early on. So maybe showcasing why they banned it last time around that came through. But that King Arthur being taken away over there in the solo lane, maybe making a big play, I would argue, overall, for them to be able to come through. And Hachiman looks like is locked in there for Hype Unit. So the Hunters that are going to be able to come through. I mean, as far as it goes, Scylla maybe a little more late game oriented. Hachiman kind of safe.
Yeah, maybe Hype Unit are looking to play it safe in the mid game, not let any lead be established in general, or they're looking to just play kind of in response or a less proactive style and allow OHEY to maybe try again for this invade strategy, this early game oppression strategy, and respond to it in kind. I like the picks so far. Both teams have a lot of pressure, but they also have a lot of ways to play survivable. King Arthur can decide to maybe just not rotate out a lane, play it safe. Jingwei, one of the safest picks in the league. Odin, going to be nigh impossible to kill in that soul lane if that is where he goes. Hachiman and Scylla can be played incredibly safe, but there's really no way for either team to establish an early lead based off of just picks just yet.
Well, Jingwei pretty safe in her lane. Hell is Hell, and King Arthur, as we've seen, at worst case, maybe stalemates in his lane. So, hey, I would argue have a good way to coast into that late game as of right now. Yamoja, Sobek, Ganesh, a lot of Guardians off the board here, even though the roles may be different as to where they're going. And you had mentioned this Odin maybe, potentially swinging into the solo. We have seen him a little bit in that duo lane earlier on this year. I mean, if you're looking for early game aggression, that range stun's a good way to start it off, but does he synergize well enough with Hachiman to be able to find those kills?
He absolutely can. I think Odin's strongest role is support, but I've played a lot against Wolves. I'm a console kid. He really gave it to me for about 2 years straight, and this guy is the premier Odin from Xbox. He played it every single opportunity that he was given, and I'm not sure that he's changed much in the last couple of years. It likely is going to be that Odin in the solo, but with the Kakullan getting picked up, maybe I'm eating my own words a little bit, but both gods can be flexed into the jungle. Both gods can be flexed into support. Maybe this ambiguity in the pick phase so far for Hype is a strategy. They're trying to keep OHEY guessing.
Well, the knock-up synergy is going to be there for OHEY, so they might just go ahead and ignore what Hype Unit have locked in and read what they have themselves. A Wheelish coming through with the Bacchus, the Jingwei. There's a lot of damage, a lot of setup, and team synergy that comes through in the draft. It's going to be the Hebo at the very end there. A lot of burst damage in retaliation. But it feels like it is built and centered around this Odin doing well early on. Wherever he ends up going, which I agree with you, maybe more in that support role now, early for Hashiman, early for Scylla, early for the Hebo, wherever they end up throwing it that is two mages you don't typically get to see put together. Now that I've run through the draft of the entirety in my head, I don't know what Hype Unit's doing.
It's likely going to be the Hebo jungle, Scylla mid. I'm going to go ahead and put Odin in that support role. Kakullin's going to hold it down in solo. Odin going in support here is smart. You want to get involved fast and early. The second you hit level 5, you're trying to shut down this hell. You want to rotate out, find the cage. You could just try and catch out this Bacchus' hips flop ever goes down. Meanwhile, Mineral's going to be playing this pseudo jungle role. Layers is going to be just healing up, playing in the jungle, farming for the late game, and looking to solo carry the squad the second he gets some items online.
And you've already seen it. Mineral has one job, and it's that. Hey, is there someone I can see? Cool, I'm going to stun them. Everyone else's job? Kill that guy. Or at least try to. Maybe a little too early to try and burn through Oceans. The Bacchus may be a little too tanky without any extra poke being thrown onto him, but that showcases what that duo lane is going to end up being all about. The Kakullin going up against the King Arthur will be an interesting matchup, considering what we've seen out of some of the best Kakullins can make a pretty big sweeping difference overall in some of the late game team fights. If Mineral gets ahead early, it might be up to this King Arthur to get ahead for Dishonor to maybe make things equal.
Yeah, my eyes are completely glued to Odin. He can completely swing this game on his own. An early lead for him means that he can turn that hell in mid into a double-edged sword. Sure, it's a ticking time bomb, but he can pre-fire it a little bit and just continually focus him out with the cage. Odin versus Hell, that's the age-old counter matchup.
Well, he went for an early game beat, so no shell, no blink, no maybe instant aggression, not even a horrific emblem there for Mineral to try and play synergy. He does still have that stun. His beads are down as of right now, and they're making a pretty big rotation over here into the jungle as they're looking for that early fight. Mineral maybe a little bit too far forward, looking for the stun on anyone he can find it on. It's going to be good, along with the crush to help find some damage, but Hell has the healing. Layers is rotated in. Layers goes down. Cure Me, credit for first blood this time around. Mineral maybe in the wrong spot, wrong time. It's going to be Gaijay rotating in. Beads come through. Crush going to be good again onto Amuel, and Baronic going to be able to get credit for that one kill. Mineral, low health, and that's going to be enough for Cure Me to be able to eat that one alive. Gaijay follows just shortly thereafter. And Baronic forced to walk away, not necessarily the amount of damage you want out of Asilla, because it's just too early for her.
Hype Unit played that fight so incredibly bad. I'm going to be blatant. They're moving in to defend this red buff, and OHEY just kind of stagnate around it. They wait for a second, and then Layers finally shows up. He walks straight into the enemies and dies for free. Nothing happens. He doesn't get an ability off. He doesn't hit anyone. He just dies. Mineral has to move up and try and defend his boy. He dies too. I mean, Hype Unit had no strategy there. OHEY wasn't doing anything. They were standing outside of your red buff. They weren't in it. They were more towards the neutral section of the map. And Hype Unit, I guess, just got a little bit scared too quickly, walk in and die for free into an elongated engagement where OHEY was able to just continually use Amuel to heal up in the early game. Weird aggression from Hype Unit there that is immediately punished by OHEY.
Well, they're going to be looking for a little bit more. Mineral goes forward just to try and steal away the purple buff this time, not looking for anybody's life. They just need to farm up here. OHEY now have that early lead that so far has been coveted by both of these teams, being able to be the only thing they take into the late game with themselves. Now, when I think Glass Cannon, especially with mages, Hebo and Scylla tend to come to my mind. Scylla may be a little bit safer of the two. But, and you had highlighted this as the misplay. Layers just kind of walking in there doesn't seem to ring too true with what you want out of your Hebo. Is this realistic for Hype Unit to just try and wait for, 15, 20 minutes and hope that their damage by then is going to be enough?
I don't think that Hype Unit really want to be forced into a position where they have to play stagnant. because there is this hell on the enemy team, because Kiermy's got a fantastic counter matchup in a Mineral and Wolves. Oceans is going to have a very easy time engaging on a Hebo. Bacchus has some of the best counter matchup there possible. If he finds the knockup, this Hebo should just die or at least lose his beads to a Willish ultimate. I don't think that they want to play it slow, and they shouldn't, because they have this ticking time bomb, OHEY that is, on this hell. Hype unit try and get early kills, just get stuffed for it, but I don't think they can give up on that strategy just yet.
Yeah, unfortunately for Mineral, every time he's gone in to get aggressive, he's been met with more damage in retaliation. So a dangerous game for him to be playing, even Oceans now. Feeling brave enough to get aggressive, but this is something we've seen out of Mineral the last couple of games, and unfortunately it hasn't worked out well for him. Oceans has just enough disengage to be able to run away from that one. So he manages to stay safe here, and he can join his teammates over there in mid.
Oceans is going to be a huge playmaker for his squad here. He's one of the only true engage factors for his team. He's the only one that has any way to CC on his way in, so he's got to be the one making proactive plays.
By the way, Kiermy can be anywhere he wants, and right now that's on top of Wolves. A couple more hits is all it's going to take. Mineral with a good rotation and no mana here for Kiermy. It's going to cause some trouble. There's going to be the dunk down with the jump, and it's going to look like it could turn around trying to chase Kiermy. Low health bars all around. Layers joins the fight, but maybe it's too late to try and clean it up. The gank gone wrong for OHEY, but not wrong enough to give an advantage over to Hype Unit. They might be able to take that blue buff, and they might be able to find something here in mid as Samuel picks up a fadeaway kill, but that's all they're going to be able to get.
That was so clean from Amuel. My man showed zero respect there. He was playing on Scylla's tower line, throwing out max range abilities, tanking up the tower, and he knows he's allowed that because he sees that huge grouped presence from Hype Unit on the solo side of the map. Yeah, you guys rotated over, you stopped the kill from happening, but they got nothing in return, and Amuel turns a bad situation into a good one.
Well, Layers once again caught out. No mana and almost no health to be able to fight in this one. GuyJ rotates into the back, goes with the ult immediately, forces the airstrike out of Frasian, who's going to be able to jump down, stay safe, and retreat. Oceans, though, no ult to his name, is going to belly flop in onto GuyJ. Good pre-beads to stop the knockup, just to make sure that it's not going to lead anything from Kiermy, but Kiermy's going to get aggressive anyway, not going to find his own knockup, so it's not going to have the lockdown they needed. It's all for this red buff, though. The timer going to be coming up right on time for Kiermy in the area. Mineral doing his best to try and just secure that one and defend. Unfortunately, doesn't seem like it's going to go his way.
It doesn't. Mineral's been getting stuffed out every step of the way, and he's playing really well. He's matching the aggression from OHEY. He's been able to rotate around, stop a lot of the kills from happening, but it's not stopped the lead from starting to establish. Now 500 gold in the lead for OHEY. Hype Unit are doing a good job of just stagnating it out. That was closer to 1,000 about 2 minutes ago, but since then the farm's really sped up for the Hype boys, and right now Layers was 2 levels down, now only 1 level down to the 2-0 Willich. The XP is starting to equalize, the gold's starting to equalize. OHEY hasn't been able to push their lead at all, but they shouldn't feel the pressure to need to because they know they have such a strong late game.
Well, since Boronic is entering that territory where he will be finishing off his second item, or I guess his first item after Boots here, we can start that good old anti-heal checklist that comes through. Your Divine Ruins, your Brawler's Beat Sticks, although it doesn't seem like that one's pretty likely this game, Cursed Donks, etc., that this team is going to need to pick up to maybe deal with that late game hell. And that's something that's maybe worth mentioning. I mean, Layers, I don't think of Hebo when it comes to Divine Ruin. I don't think of him as much right now, other than maybe somebody who's going to get burned down in the jungle. Crush over the wall, going to be good onto Kiermy. Layers uses that crushing wave to disengage. There is Amuel showcasing how good this healing is going to be for the team, which brings me back to my point. There's no Brawlers that comes through. And again, Divine Ruin doesn't scream necessary on Hebo. Is that lack of anti-heal going to hurt Hype Unit?
It absolutely will. Neither mage on the side of Hype Unit has a really easy time applying Divine Ruin. No Brawler's Beat Stick available for that squad unless it comes out of the Cullen. Means that worst case scenario, Hype Unit pick up the Brawler's Beat Stick, and now their Cullen's a lot squishier. You still can look at Pestilence, you can still look at Contagion, but they don't have very many easy ways to deal with the healing from Amuel from a range, and Hell's healing almost always is going to come in clutch in the out-of-combat scenarios, where you really want someone who can throw maybe a Raiju over the wall or Merlin Ice Stance over the wall. They don't have any way to do anything like that.
Well, this might be their goal. Lock him down in the cage, try to stun him up afterward. Amuel, the main target, I'm a monster, crushes down on top of him. Kirmi incredibly low in the backline, but they're going to be able to walk away. Doesn't matter, rooted, crushed. Gaijay gets the kill onto Oceans, a 2-for-none trade here for Hype Unit. They engage the way they want to, which goes back to what you had said in Picks and Bans, how important Mineral's cage is going to be throughout this entire engagement. As Wolves is even looking to pick up a solo kill for himself over here in lane, just needs some cooldowns.
Oh, he's not going to let this tier 2 stop him, but Dishonor moves up, loses his life for it. Mineral is so integral in this game particularly, not only because he has that nice counter matchup, but because the rest of his team is so weak at applying anti-heal that it's really all on him.
Well, name a more Wolves thing that could happen. Dives tier 2 to get a kill, and then sticks around a little bit too long and ends up losing his life for it. Layers has even come around, goes for the knockup, crushing wave, just eviscerates Kirmi off the map. And that's going to make this a little bit more even overall. Kills have now matched each other. This 3-1 of Wheelish has now at least been taken down one notch. But it's not been enough. And Mineral, as time goes on, like you said, integral to the way this is going to work, but maybe a little less potent the longer this game goes. This Odin needs to keep up, needs to keep the pressure going, or else he could fall behind.
But look at the XP in gold already. Hype Unit, off of one strong engagement, already turns the lead on its head. The jungle now 2 levels up. The mid laner caught up. The support 2 levels up. Those priority targets of Mineral and Layers, the ones that need to do well, they're doing well right now. They've established a lead, but they have to keep jamming it down. Just because you kill the hell once, twice, that's not enough. If Amuel's allowed to free farm, no matter what, he's going to get that healing online eventually, so you have to keep him down while he's weak. Level 10, no second relic available. Beads not online. Any knockup could result into a kill. Any sort of stun could result in a kill. If Mineral finds a cage, that's a kill. And you have to keep looking for those opportunities.
And you can tell he's trying to sniff one out as it is right now. Wants to get aggressive. That level 12 mark maybe being the biggest thing for Hype Unit. I mean, you know, you're looking at Layers, more than likely going for a blink. Same thing I think could be said here for Mineral. As they lock down Amuel once again in this cage in mid. Shuts down the healing, shuts down his life. That's going to be a return kill. Mineral gets low in the process, but, you know, support for mid, it's worth it every single day. Goes on to Kirmi, though, so maybe takes a little bit of that lead away from Layers. They're not able to lock anyone else down. This tier 1 tower doing a good job of warding off Hype Unit. They're just going to disengage.
That's a clean trade. Anytime Amuel dies, I don't care if it's 2 members on the side of Hype Unit that trade out their lives. If one of them's the support, it's always going to be value. This Hell is such a priority target that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if she trades out the life of 2 members on the side of Hype Unit. If you can slow down the build, make sure that she doesn't get the healing online, make sure she doesn't get any sort of utility, it's going to keep it low and slow, nice and easy for Hype Unit to keep sending Mineral in, find the cage, get the follow-up, get the kill, take the trade afterward. OHEY's entire comp is weak without this Hell. They don't have any sustain in their kit. Their burst damage is going to be largely lacking outside of this Awilish. They need a Hell if they want to do an objective. They need Hell if they want to do a team fight. If you kill her, that's huge.
There's going to be the Gold Fury pretty much for free here. That OHEY are able to secure. Amuel pretty low, and the last one to fall into this tier 2. Oceans maybe takes the wrong path, stunned out by Mineral, but it's still a Bacchus, still hard to burn down, and here's that out of combat healing you were mentioning. Crush going to be good to force the Aegis away from Amuel, so that target now maybe a little more open for the next, well, almost 3 minutes that come through, but not a lot of aggression from Hype Unit that's paying off right here. They lose that Gold Fury, and they get nothing to show.
That's smart play from OHEY, trading out the Gold Fury there. It's a risky play, but if they steal it away, that means that Hype Unit, who is already trending upward throughout the duration of this game, doesn't have a neutral objective that they can move to safely and force a fight. OHEY steal it away, they remove the potential for gold for Hype Unit, they remove that XP deficit. They do so much there to slow down Hype Unit's game, which is absolutely the name of the game for OHEY. They're trying to make sure that even though Amuel's been the target of so much aggression so far, they're still trying to keep him leveled up.
Unfortunate timing for Wolves. I guess not enough wards over here for him to have that vision. OHEY had that blue buff and that Totem of Ku completely locked down. They knew where he was, when he was, and why he was. And unfortunately, he's going to be asking himself that question while he's in the gray scheme for the next 20 seconds. Now Ocean looking to get aggressive here. Stuns online for both supports, but maybe a little easier for Mineral to cancel it out. Pyromancer It's going to be started up by OHEY.
This is exactly what you have to be worried about. If OHEY are allowed to choose the engagements, that means it's going to be so much harder to find that cage onto Amuel. Pyromancer goes down for free. Dishonored buys time. Cage no longer available. And Layers is the only one that's dealing any relevant damage.
Now Blink online there for Layers, so he might be able to close the gap. Mineral's going to jump in and try to drop the cage, but he doesn't have it available for him. Gets just melted down. Amuel trades out his life for it. Layers looking to go down. Did a lot of damage in the process. I'm a Monster comes crushing through, but it's not going to be able to find a kill. Dishonored with a double. There's going to be the airstrike. J goes down on the back line. Now Dishonored, even though he's one hit away, is going to walk away just fine. Oh, from Wolves, going to get the knock up, and Kiermi should be going down here. Baronic, credit for that one, but and they're just pulling back ever so slightly. 3 for 2 plus Pyro still favors OHEY.
And 14 minutes in, with the health bars as they are, there's no way we see another early Fire Giant attempt from Hype Unit. That's just going to fizzle out. OHEY take the lead again. Now nearly 1,000 gold up. These guys are playing incredibly well into the deficit. I said they couldn't play from behind last game. Clearly I lied, because this Hell was about 3, maybe 4 levels down. Cut that to 2, and now she's got the second Relic online. Beads are available. The aggression that was so easy for Hype Unit to find is slowly starting to dwindle, and this Hell's starting to hit her power spikes as well. Likely going to be a Divine Ruin, maybe even a Spear of Desolation coming online. She's going to be popping off in damage and healing.
And you want to talk about turnarounds. And there was a 2-level lead from Mineral over Oceans. Now it's the opposite way. Just now ticking up to 11 there is going to be Mineral. But he doesn't have that second Relic online. Meanwhile, Oceans is going to be able to back and find his whenever he wants to. And Bacchus, I mean, being able to go even better here to counter out Mineral, allow people to walk through that cage with the Phantom. It's just, this is good team play, it feels like, from Oceans.
Yeah, Ocean's a veteran player. My man knows what to do. Odin on the enemy team, he doesn't care that they can still break the cage now. You want to be able to walk out instantly. You don't want to have anyone forced into jumping out of the cage and get hit by that new slow with a spear chasing them down. So this Phantom, not only going to be fantastic for dealing with Odin cage, but also, once he levels it up, he's going to get some damage mitigation online, 20%. These blink-ins from Layers where he finds these huge ultimates are going to be even less impactful if he levels up that Relic early on.
Well, back to that anti-heal checklist we had talked about earlier is right now. Dishonored's getting chased down. Actually, it's going to be a pretty big gank onto him. The cage even dropped to try and find this one. That's going to be the crush that comes through. Baronic, credit for the kill, and unfortunately for Amuel and Oceans, they just have to watch as their solo laner gets fed to the Sharks that time around. But the checklist does still ring true right now, and well, until just recently, it was only the Divine Ruin. Now Pestilence online, but no Cursed Donk available, with Mineral picking up that blink for his second Relic. So maybe not the full shutdown. And as of right now, I mean, they've been dealing with Amuel pretty well.
Blink is so value on Odin to let him reposition for free, but Blink on Cucullin, way less so. I would have preferred if that were Nong.
Well, it's going to be the jump in. Kiermi low, but Mineral not able to chase it up with the stun that comes through. Oceans able to go over the wall, and Amuel able to keep everyone topped off just enough as Wolves makes the rotation in. He's going to be able to find the smackdown. Baronic, credit for the kill there. Amuel unfortunately takes the step too far, not into the Emma Monster, but instead into the rest of the team. It's going to be enough damage to get rid of the mid and support, but it's one clap back onto the jungler there. Layers goes down once again. Now they're trying to fight it out, but Kiermi's in the backline. Kiermi finds Baronic, and his team chased down. Mineral going to be looking for it, but the jump back from Kiermi gets him out of danger, and now they're looking for the damage. J loses his life. They get frozen in the process, but unfortunately for Mineral, it's just one more hit and a double kill here for Dishonored to be able to find that one. And it's now the solo lane matchup that we've gotten used to being the slap fight, just on the opposite side of the map. Level 16 on level 16 as Wolves just chases out Dishonored to make sure he's not going to be able to get anything more after the fight.
Hype Unit do a good job. They targeted out Amuel immediately, get him killed first. If you don't want anti-heal online, you don't want your Ankh, you don't need the Brawler's Beat Stick if the healer is just going to be dead. But that overcommitment of resources to chase out Amuel, who's playing incredibly well around his team, means that OHEY can reposition, take the fight on the tail end of it, and win it out net positive. That's rough. OHEY proving that they don't need Amuel alone to win these engagements because Kiermi's having such a good game. Dishonored's having an insanely good game, dealing immense damage on this King Arthur. And yeah, you got your trade, but you didn't get any objective on the tail end of it. You actually lost the fight, Hype Unit, and now Gold Fury going to be under pressure.
Well, they're going to be able to get a little bit of damage, push, pull, fall back, unleash it, as now Mineral Wolves, Baronic even going to be in the neighborhood. And that's the one thing Scylla is bringing to this. A lot of confirm on I'm a Monster. Way more than you're going to get out of a Hell, so maybe not the best time to try and take an objective whenever he's nearby. But looking for the bait. Layers isn't in the fight just yet. By the time he joins, that blink will be available, and they're pretty well grouped up here from OHEY. It's just a matter of time for him to get into it.
The Gold Fury dance is going to continue, and the longer the dance goes on, the better off OHEY is going to be. The MP5 from Hell, the healing, means that the longer the engagement goes, OHEY, absolutely the beneficiary.
That's a lot of damage onto Kiermi at the very beginning of this one from Layers being able to get a little bit of pressure early on. Airstrike forced out from the Jingwei, so she falls back, and now Ocean's in the unfortunate spot. Intoxicate used to try and peel for himself, but he's going to get chased forward. Crush going to slow him down. I'm a Monster going to ring true and look for the kill onto Amuel. Finds him second, finds Frasian third there. Baronic able to make sure they get 3 clean kills here. And while it might be his secure that's off the board, that is a nice sweep for Hype Unit.
Nice sweep, likely into a nice objective. Fire Giant on their eyes. OHEY play that engagement so strange. They get the defensive positioning around gold. Hype Unit have to respond to their aggression, and then OHEY, almost all of them, 3 members, back up to their own red buff. They leave Oceans alone, they leave Frasian alone. That means that Amuel can't really heal anybody. No engagement to be had.
Well, Dishonored's right in the area. He's going to be able to go in, and he takes it away from them. 2 members now with Fire Giant. Kiermi finds a kill on the Layers in the backline. Baronic is going to be able to help burn him down. Credit for the kill goes over to Wolves, but, I mean, Wolves just walked him into the Fire Giant pit, and once Dishonored saw what was going on, yeah, he's the only one left with it standing, but they just pulled a huge win away from Hype Unit.
Hype Unit not going to be able to do anything with the Fire Giant because they don't get it. OHEY not going to be able to do anything with the Fire Giant because it's only Dishonored with it, but with a gold lead as it is, OHEY slightly ahead. Gold Fury now being taken down by Jingwei as well. So many towers left on the map. OHEY could just go ahead and try and use this Fire Giant. Have Dishonored take up the tower, use that sustain. Have Hell continue healing you. Take out at least some tier 1 towers, bring that gold lead back in your favor. Hell's getting close to hitting these critical power spikes. She's only 2 levels down. Enemies will only hit level 20 once. This lead that Hype Unit has is slowly starting to fizzle. And OHEY, that late game team comp that we've been talking about for the last 20 minutes, yeah, we're getting close to it popping off.
Well, XP is a conversation we could have earlier on, and as of right now, it's still in favor of Hype Unit, but that gold has shifted pretty heavily over there towards OHEY, and like you highlighted, there's still a lot of towers on the map. Both teams have only lost 1 tier 1, so that's a lot of gold that you can be able to swing in your favor. It's just depending on where you want to get aggressive and how confident you're feeling. Specifically here in this Jingwei along with Dishonored, you mentioned that sustain, potentially able to push. But is it a good idea to try and fight against the Hebo at this level? Well, he's going to use the Crushing Wave over here in mid, looking to try and chase down Kiermi, and that's going to be the Water Hands. He's going to find it, and Wolves, since they separated, is able to pick up Amuel on the backspin. And now they're going to be able to separate this. A 3 versus 5, doesn't matter if Dishonored still has that FG buff. Looks like Hype Unit are looking to try and find their own pressure.
Yeah, I was already preparing my notes to talk about how Layers got caught out there, but instead, OHEY line up, give him the collateral ultimate, immediately lose 80% of both Kiermi and Amuel's health bar. I mean, Hype Unit doesn't care that one member has Fire Giant. They'll take any fight anyway, especially if the one guy with Fire Giant isn't in the engagement. What was OHEY's time to shine now belongs to Hype Unit. Still 2 dead for 10 seconds. Phoenix under some pressure.
Dishonored locked inside the crate. Crush going to be able to find a little bit of health. Wolves finds the rest of it and make sure to put him down in the grave. Crits are ringing true here now for Frasian. It's not seemingly enough to burn through Wolves. The Phoenix is the primary target, though, and they're going to be able to get that and look for the disengage. How many can run away? Mineral goes down in the process. Guy J critted, about half health, uses the ult for the disengage, but Kiermi's running him down, and it's going to be able to find 1. Layers has no mana. They could go in. There's going to be 1 more shot to be able to find some health for him, but he's still alive. Airstrike to close the gap. Blink to make it happen a little further. Sentinel over the wall for Baronic. It's looking like a good disengage, although maybe a little too late here for Hype Unit. They're still low, and OHEY are hungry. They're chasing these down. By the way, Kiermi Suki goes very, very far, and Kiermi's going to be able to find that one. Suku closes the gap, no problem, and now Layers under that tier 2 is maybe the only one who feels safe, and even still, it's a little bit of danger lurking in the jungle.
Gore, did you see that feather step? It looked like it went through the wall to me. That was a strange interaction, but good luck running away from a hell. She's got speed boost on her heel. She's keeping her team alive. You can't CC them off. She's got cleanse. Kiermi can't be CC'd either. My man's using beads to celebrate a good engagement. They do lose out on their Phoenix. That is a huge deal, especially considering it's the Phoenix furthest away from the Fire Giant, and the Fire Giant's going to be spawning in about 1 minute. OHEY is going to have a much harder time engaging in and going for another FG steal, especially considering I doubt Hype Unit make the same mistake. They're going to have someone trying to zone off. Hype Unit, despite losing out on that engagement, despite the gold lead being evened out by OHEY, getting that Phoenix, having Fire Giant respawn, and keeping yours towers and Phoenix is safe, I think, again, Hype Unit's in the driver's seat.
One tower left standing here for OHEY versus the 3-4 that are standing over there on Hype Unit. Tier 1s, though, once you hit 25 minutes, it feels like Tier 1s kind of stop existing, at least in my brain. They're just kind of another obstacle that's in the way, but it's still a lot of gold that will come through if OHEY are able to pick those up. And the pressure they've showcased can mount. And the biggest thing, and we've seen it happen several times throughout this game, but it's been where Kiermi is able to go with Suku. Even though they're on the left-hand side of the map right now, even though Jingwei was just on the left-hand side of the map, they cross incredibly fast. And so Fire Giant coming back right now, they could still be available for this fight.
They could be, but if Hype Unit decide to elongate the engagement, it's going to force those Fire Minions to rotate in. It's a weird trade-off, though. A long fight against a hell, almost never going to be the call. But when you have layers on this Hebo, when you have burst potential, these fights aren't going long.
Well, there's the cage, the lockdown Amuel. Aegis going to be used as long as the Phantom, but it's going to be Frasian that loses his life first. Amuel second, as always. Hype Unit have the checklist that he has to go down. Dishonored going to get burned through, and Ocean's now just trying to stay alive. The blinking from Kiermi onto Piranha going to be able to try and close this gap, but it maybe is too much for the lonely Awila. She gets wiped out here. So does the team. That's a full-on deicide. Tier 2 on right should go down, but they're just going to run straight forward. They're looking for the Titan.
Yeah, that's a GG alert from me. 30 seconds left on the nearest spawn. Frasian gets eviscerated by Gaijay in that fight. Immediately gets removed. And then what does Hype Unit do? 5-man death ball. At 26 minutes into the game, those tier 2 towers aren't there to help you. You're there to defend them. Hype Unit don't care at all. This rotating death ball just absolutely eviscerates the entirety of OHEY's composition. At no point were they able to use that hell well. This is what I was worried about in the P's and B's phase. Just because she's available doesn't mean she'll win you the game. We saw immediately she got shut down. Amuel in the early game gets removed. 3, 4 levels down at any given point. They got no value out of that hell.
Well, it's one of the first times as well that we've seen an Odin who was picked and honestly didn't feel a lot of his impact from the stun being available early on. Not a lot of early aggression from Hype Unit that won out anything. In fact, I think at the very beginning there was 3-for-0 trades that favored OHEY there in that game. But that cage, I mean, you highlighted it, and, well, Mineral showcased it, just did so much work for them. Even the Phantom Veil was not enough to be able to fight back for him.
It wasn't. I'm not even sure if that Phantom got leveled up by the tail end of that game to get the damage mitigation, but it really does not matter. When Layers is able to blink in, find 4-man ultimates consistently, find 3-man knockups as Hebo, there's not much you're going to be able to do about it, especially considering, look at all these highlights. Who's always dead? It's Amuel. Hype Unit's not making any risky engagements until they know this hell's dead.
And it felt like, it literally did feel like a checklist at a certain point, because I think Amuel died second in almost every single engagement. A very weird way for it to go forward. That's a big win there for Hype Unit. A lot closer than it's going to be able to read there, even though they're right next to each other. And hey, Hype Unit actually end up playing again a little bit later. They had, I believe, 2 matches today. One there against OHEY, and one later on tonight against Blugie and the Woogies. So you'll be able to watch that one post-SPL, which is going to be coming on here shortly. But it's a good game there, I think, for Hype Unit. They showcase, maybe if you glance over Game 2, that they can still fight from a deficit. It just has to be able to find that control and that pace.
Yeah, they showed that given a late game hyper carry, you could do it. Absolutely. It's these high execution comps that we're seeing that can't really play from behind. It seems like both teams are taking comps that if you fall behind, we're not going to win. It's a very double-edged sword playstyle from both of these squads. If they're able to diversify their picks, get something that's a little bit more capable of transitioning to mid to the late game, these teams can absolutely be hard to contend with.
Oh, it's something that's going to be fun to watch, and I'm excited to see what they're able to do a lot later. And we've already had some interesting picks that have come out through these games, but Mifflin, the SBL, is going to be coming on pretty shortly. It's looking like a fun day when we have Renegades Radiance OHEY going up against Ghost. And so I'm going to ask you, as a little bit of a teaser and a pre-show, which one of those matches is going to be maybe your favorite to see?
It's OHEY. Obviously, I'm
yeah,
the big OHEY fan. We like what Ducky's the best player in the world. I mean, no, in all seriousness, I love watching a team that is able to be an underdog but still come for the throats for all these upper tier teams every single time. I'm not going to count OHEY out of any single given set, even if they're not really got any contention for playoffs. It's still an absolute treat to see them play.
Well, that's right. SBL is going to be starting up soon. The second set is the one that's going to have OHEY, but the first set is going to be here in just about 7 minutes, guys. So take this short break to be able to find your snacks, your drinks, whatever you need, because the SBL...